Screen Directors Playhouse. Stars, James Stewart, Jeff Chandler, Deborah Paget. Production, Broken Arrow. Director, Delmar Daves. Tonight, the Screen Directors Playhouse is pleased to present, transcribed, An Adventure Between War and Peace. Here is our adaptation of Broken Arrow, as James Stewart, Jeff Chandler, and Deborah Paget recreate their original screen roles of Jeffords, Cochise, and Sansire. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the first act of Broken Arrow.
This is the story of a land, of the people who lived on it and fought a war in the year 1870, and of a man whose name was Cochise. He was an Indian, a member of the Chiricahua Apache tribe. This is his story and my story. I'm Tom Jeffords, and it happened just as you'll hear it, except that it's all in our language. And it began one night up in the Apache country where I'd been prospecting for gold. I'd been asleep. I woke up to feel the hand on my throat and to see the Apache face in the moonlight.
Psst. Do not cry out.
Huh? What?
It is Juan from Tucson.
Juan? What the devil?
I'll find your place.
Yeah, scare the life out of me. What's a tame Apache doing in this country?
Message from Colonel Burnell, new commander at Fort Grant. He wants you.
Oh, no, I'm not in the Army anymore.
He wants you, Captain Jeffords, to scout to make war on Apaches.
They never get enough, do they? Civil War, Indian War, they never get enough.
You'll come to Tucson tomorrow.
Oh, all right. I'll tell him myself.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I go now. This very dangerous place for me.
Yeah, for both of us. All right, see you tomorrow. I don't think I slept any more that night, but I guess I did. Because when I woke up that morning, I found I had a second Indian visitor. A boy lying on his stomach about 15 feet away from me. He had a knife in his hand. His arm was flung out in my direction. His back was a bloody mess. Buckshot. Well, Sonny, you're pretty badly off. Apache.
Water.
Open your eyes, boy.
White Eye. Kill.
Let go of that knife. I could have killed before. Here now. Drink.
Good water.
You're lucky it doesn't spray out of your back like a sieve. See those wounds?
No.
What, are you afraid of pain?
Apache is never afraid.
All right, then let's have a look. It's nothing serious. There's danger of infection. What's your name?
Machoke.
How many years has Machoke?
14.
Who shot you?
White Eyes.
You're on war party?
No, this is novice time for me. I learned to be a man. I take trips.
You would have been very proud to kill me.
Yes.
Too much killing. All right, I help you. Maybe sometime you help White Eye.
No, I kill.
14 years old. All right, let's boil some water for those wounds.
The back. Is it any better? Little bit. I must go now.
Ah, it's still weak. Better wait.
No, I have been away long time. In the village, my mother is crying.
Were you?
My brother and sister were killed at Big Creek. I am the only one. I think Piancene, my father, looks for me.
Ah. Well, then go with the gods.
I pray to the gods for you, White Eye.
Well, thank you, boy. I'll travel slowly. You remember your back.
Hey, that arrow. It is a warning. Here, stand back. Put away your gun. They could have killed.
I don't trust them. Where are they?
The gun. Give it to me. They see I am unharmed.
Here.
Come. This White Eye is my friend.
Since when does my son take a white man as his friend?
My father, he helped me.
To become a tame Apache?
See my back.
Johnson, I take your son. I will take the White Eye.
No, he healed me, gave me water.
Why did you do this, White One?
He is a child.
He is an Apache. The Hills says that we fight a war. Why did you not slay him?
Killing children isn't my way. I've fought once in much war. Between whites and against Indians. Now my stomach is full and sick of war.
You have spared my son. We will spare you. This time.
But do not come again, White Eye. Never. I promise next time we kill.
And then, as if it had never happened, I was riding my horse again, riding back to Tucson. I learned things that day. I learned that Apache mothers cried for their sons, that Apache fathers loved their children. And I learned that Apache men had a sense of fair play. It gave me a lot to think about and to talk about at Tucson.
Tom, it just doesn't seem reasonable for Indians to act like that.
Oh, that's the way it happened, Milt. Not just a saloon story.
Well, it's worth a drink on the house. Hey, O'Connor!
Hey, forget it. I've already got the dust up in my mouth.
Jeffords? Couldn't help hearing. My name's Slade.
Oh, yeah.
Last week, the Apaches burned my home. My wife was in it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're trying to make them out gentlemen?
That's the way it happened, Mr. Slade.
Tom, there's Colonel Bernal. Probably wants you.
All right. I'll see you at the post office later, Milt. Colonel Bernal?
You're Jeffords?
I heard you wanted me, Colonel.
I want a good scout. I've just been given command of Fort Grant.
Well, congratulations.
My orders are to clean out Cochise. I'll need all the expert help I can get.
Uh-huh. Well, Colonel, there just isn't anybody that expert around here.
I can back you up, Jeffords. I have 250 fresh men, disciplined troopers.
That's very nice. Too bad they're going to be dead soon.
No, not this time. With the help of a few trained men like yourself, I'll have this war over in 6 months.
No, you won't, Colonel.
Now, see here, Jeffords, I know my business.
So does Cochise.
An ignorant savage.
Yes, he's ignorant. He can't even read a map, but he and his warriors know every coyote and cactus in Arizona.
My men are disciplined.
Discipline? For the first time in Indian history, he's got Apaches from all the tribes fighting together under the same command. Colonel, I want to see an end to this war, too. But in 6 months, you'll be transferred just as another failure.
And I see I can't count on you. Good day, Jeffords.
Jeffords?
Yes, Mr. Slade.
Just whose side are you on, anyway?
The side that'll end the fighting.
When Cochise started it, let him end it.
Now, wait a minute. Now, let's get the facts straight. Cochise didn't start this war. A snooty little lieutenant started it. Flew a flag of truce, which Cochise honored. And under it, he hung Cochise's brother.
How's it ever going to end unless we kill them all?
It'll stop when one side just makes one small sign.
I'll make my sign with a rifle. What else is there? I got a sister in the East. She'll never even know what happened to us out here. Can't even send her a letter. Can't even get the mail through. And
Yes,
you want to...
I just want to stop it all. Just one small sign. One.
You asked for me, Captain Jeffords?
Yes, I need an Indian friend. Come on into the mail office, will you?
Hello, Tom. Juan.
Say, Milt, how long's it been since you've gotten the mail through Cochise's territory?
Months.
Well, you know, Milt, I'm not sure, but there may be a way to handle that mail with Juan's help.
What do you want?
I want you to teach me to speak Apache good.
What for?
Juan, I want to learn about Apache spirits. I want to learn Apache ways here in my head and here in my heart.
No white man asked to learn these things. Why do you?
I want to speak with Cochise.
Tom, you're crazy.
I've been willing to look for gold in Cochise's territory. Now I'll take a chance on finding something else.
Cochise will not speak.
We'll send smoke signals to him.
He will not come.
I'll go to him.
To his stronghold?
Yes.
Tom, you know Apaches torture.
I know Apaches. I met some yesterday. Cochise may talk. He may listen to reason about the mails. That's the beginning.
It might be the end, too.
Well, Juan, will you help?
I will teach you. But I think it will end bad. I think Cochise will kill you. I think so, too, Tom.
Well, what's another life in all this massacre? We'll start today, Juan. In a month, I want to be ready.
This is a radio network. It is a great web of contact spanning this entire land, touching now and then all peoples at all times. From the farmer starting his day at dawn to the young girl at a party, radio reaches everybody. And radio advertising sells all markets. Not only can advertisers talk directly to you by using radio, but it costs them less than other methods. Yes, network radio is a bargain to advertisers. It is also the only way to reach a truly national audience with a human voice. Advertisers spend money with NBC because they wish to reach the greatest possible number of people for the least possible cost, and with the force and persuasion of the human voice. Now, the second act of the Screen Directors Playhouse presentation of Broken Arrow.
Look, my warriors. Cochise says it. I draw this line in the dirt. This is the way of the white soldiers. I draw this mountain in the dirt. There you will hide. I draw this sun in the dirt. When the sun is here, then you will attack. No white shall live.
Good. Cochise.
Does Machogi not know it is not a boy's place in a council of war?
He is here. The white man.
The white man from Tucson?
He who healed me.
I gave him my word, the word of Nahilze. I swore he would die if he returned.
Quiet, Nahilze. Go, all of you. Machogi, remain. Tell me of this man.
He is not like other whites.
Shall I have him killed?
No.
Because he helped you? Perhaps he wishes to harm all of us.
Then if I were a great chief, if I were Cochise, I would speak with him. I would read his heart.
Your advice is good, little warrior. Show me where the white eye is held. You have brave eyes, tall one, for a man who may have but a little while to live.
It is known that the chief of the Chiricahua Apaches is the greatest Indian leader. He must have a great heart. I speak to that heart now.
Why have you come here?
I speak of signals. We call them mail. The white man's signals, which he puts down on pieces of paper and sends from one place to the other.
What of these?
Well, now, the men who carry these signals seek no trouble. They make no trouble, yet your warriors kill them.
It is war.
But these men are not warriors. Now, I've come to ask that you let them travel in safety.
Who sent you?
No one. It was my own thought.
This mail carries war signals against us.
No. War signals are carried by the military. These are other things.
And have you never fought against us?
Yes. Yes, at the Battle of Apache Pass.
And why should I not have you tortured?
Because I come in peace with a straight tongue.
My brother died when the white men spoke with a straight tongue.
There are bad whites. But a wise man knows that not all people are bad. And you are wise, Cochise, or you would not be the leader of your people. Perhaps in your heart is a spark, a hope that someday your people and mine will live together as brothers.
Your people do not want peace.
Tomorrow there must be peace. For us and for the Apaches, who each moon lose more warriors in bitter victories.
Why should not the white man act first? You want me to be better than the white man?
A white man has come here.
Your words have truth in them. I respect you for coming here. You will rest with us tonight?
Well, that is my wish.
I will think on these things, tall one. Now walk with me in the village so my people will see us together.
Your people have a ceremony tonight, Cochise.
The spirits of good and evil are dancing.
Oh, then tomorrow will be the rites of the sunrise for a young girl.
You know of such things?
I know a little bit.
You're very different from other whites. The boy spoke the truth.
I've learned some of your ways so that we could talk together.
Then you must learn of the white-painted lady. She is here inside this hut. This is the holiest time of her life.
For this night, she is the mother of life.
Yes. Tell me, do you have a sickness?
No.
Were you ever wounded?
Yes, in my arm.
We will tell her. For this night only, this girl is even more holy than most because she has been away for many years. She is old for this ceremony. It is very special.
I can see her face in the firelight. She's very beautiful.
We will talk to her now. White-painted lady.
Sonsiore has waited for you, Cochise.
I have old wounds.
But each scar is a mark of love for your people. The path of your people is stretched long behind you. And you are the head. And you are the heart. And you are the blood. You will be well.
I have brought a friend. He has an old arm wound.
Then he is welcome.
Is it all right?
She asks for you.
Thank you.
Give me your arm. Does it hurt you?
Sometimes.
It will never hurt again.
You do this for me? An enemy?
The mother of life knows no enemies.
And tomorrow, when you are no longer mother of life, when you're just a girl, will I be your enemy then?
I cannot speak of tomorrow. Now go. You will live long. The good things will be yours. The sun will shine for you.
What is your name?
Sonsiore.
Sonsiore. Morning star.
Now you must go.
Thank you, Sonsiore. Sonsiore? Hello? Hello there, good morning. Whoa, why do you hide in the bushes?
I was afraid.
Of what?
Your knife.
Knife? Oh. Oh, no. This is called a razor. I was just cutting the hair from my face. We call it shaving.
I thought you were skinning yourself.
Oh, no.
Does it hurt?
Oh, no. No, I just look in this mirror.
Mirror?
Yes. Here, take it.
I think this is me. But it is much better than looking in a pool of water.
It's yours to keep.
No.
No, please. You could see yourself every day. You could know how beautiful you are.
Thank you. No, I cannot remain.
Well, why not?
It is not right for an unmarried woman to be seen with young men.
Well, how will I see you again?
Sometimes young men and girls meet by accident.
I see. Well, Sincere, would it be well if we met again by accident?
Yes, I think so.
Soon I must go again and talk with Cochise. I've come here to talk the truth with him, and with all your people. And now, I'd like to talk the truth with you, Sincere. All my life, I've been mostly alone. I wanted it that way. Can you understand that?
Yes, that is often the way with men.
And yet, when I saw you last night, and you touched me, and you prayed for me, I felt bad being alone. So I knew that I needed to see you again before I left to find out if the feeling would be the same.
Is it the same?
Yes. So now when I go away, I'll be lonely.
Shall a man with white skin be lonely for a girl with skin such as mine?
Why must people be the same? Why, your skin is the color of honey and sun. It's so lovely. Beyond that, there's no thought.
And the white girls, are they very beautiful?
Some, Sincere, yes. But never have I seen a woman as beautiful as you are to me.
You call me Sincere, but how shall I call you?
My name is Tom.
Tom. Do I say it right?
It was never said right before.
Then I must go. Someone come.
Tall one.
Yes, I await the answer of Cochise.
I have decided about the mail. The riders will be allowed to pass.
Then you have done a fine thing.
It will show the whites what power the Apache has. The idea makes me laugh a little.
Well, I go now and tell this to my brothers.
And will you come back here sometime?
I wait for you to say it. It is my strong wish.
I say it now. You are someone I can talk to. I am weary of what goes on in my head all the time.
It's good here among your people, Cochise. I would like to be friends with you.
And with Sincere?
She makes my heart glad.
I saw the way your glance found her last night and this morning. That is not our way, Tall One.
Oh, I'm sorry, Cochise, but...
I understand, but it is not our way. You will return.
As friend to friend.
A good bow is not made in a day or a good horse trained. It takes longest of all to make a friend. Come back, Tall One.
As soon as I can. And now I bring your word to Tucson. Soon the males will ride again, and the whites will speak in big words of honor of Cochise.
All right, quiet down. I'm back, all right, and I'll tell you all about it, but just let me talk now.
Tom, I sure didn't think it was possible.
Well, it's possible, Milt. Now, Colonel Brunel, Juan, Slade, all of you. Cochise has given his word. The mails will go through.
You mean to say you went right into his camp?
That's it.
I don't believe it.
Well, you can take my word, Slade.
And the word of an Apache murderer?
The word of a proud man, a man of honor.
A man of honor. Jeffords, while you were up there with Cochise, his fighters attacked a wagon train just 40 miles east of here. Every person on it was killed.
Now, Cochise never said he was calling off the war. He just said the mail would go through.
Tom Jeffords' word is good enough for me. I'm in charge of the mail, and I say it starts moving.
Yeah, who's going to carry it then? Who's going to put his life in the hands of Cochise?
All right, I'll carry the first load myself.
Well, that won't prove anything.
I don't think I understand you, Slade.
You claim to be his friend. Maybe you were up in his stronghold. He'd let you through just...
Shut up, Slade. I'll carry the first load myself.
Thank you, Milt. I can't sit still any longer. Why doesn't Milt come back?
Because he's dead, Jeffords, that's why.
Take it easy, Slade. He's Jeffords' friend.
Thank you, Colonel. No. I know he's all right. Cochise wouldn't lie.
Cochise.
That's right, that's right. Build up the hate, burn it into your guts, let the war go on and on and on. Let your family finish it when you're
I don't
dead.
have any family. The Apaches took care of that.
It's no use, Jeffords. There's only one way we'll settle it, with blood.
But when Milt gets back, won't that prove anything?
I don't think he's coming back. He's already a day overdue. Face it, Jeffords, we're in a war, and it's going to get tougher. General Howard has been posted in to take Fort Grant. A full general means more troops and a full-size campaign.
Against what, ghosts? You can't fight it. Milt!
We made it.
Hello, Tom.
Well, Slade, I guess we were wrong.
Well, did you have any trouble? Did you see any Apaches?
No Apaches.
Well, then it worked. Cochise kept his word, but what held you up?
We're coming back. There was a wagon train, army escort for General Howard, cut to pieces. I found what was left.
Are they all dead?
Almost all. Howard got through. A few others.
Oh, this slaughter. Oh, but the mail got through. The mail got through. At least it's a beginning.
I don't know, Tom. Everybody's pretty upset about it. They're looking for somebody to blame. White man working with Cochise.
Well, that's crazy. Cochise
A
doesn't
white
need
man working with Cochise. He's your friend, ain't he, Jeffords?
That's what they're saying, Tom. He's your friend.
But I...
There he is, the Indian lover.
We got a rope for you, Jeffords. Now, listen to me.
Why should we listen to a spy?
Cochise gave his word about the mail, nothing more. If you have any hope of peace...
You ain't gonna live to see any peace. Come on, bring that rope.
Send him to Cochise.
Release that man.
Cochise a lesson.
He's a copperhead. He sold us out. Dirty Indian lover.
As a general of the United States Army, I order you to release him.
Now, look here, General.
Must I put you all under arrest? Now, leave us alone. All of you. Out of here.
Now, I guess you're General Howard.
And you're the man I've heard about. The man who went to face Cochise.
Well, thanks for getting my head out of that noose.
I don't want your gratitude. I want your help.
Look, General, I'm no spy. If you think...
Jeffords, I've been sent from Washington with full power to make a peace with Cochise. But I can't do it without you. Well?
You know, for a minute there, I almost began to hate white men. All right, General, let's hear your story.
If you wanted to sell your house or a car, you wouldn't send a piece of paper with your sales talk printed on it. You'd talk with a buyer yourself, because people sell better than paper. The voice is more persuasive than ink. And that's true in advertising, too. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone should use door-to-door salesmen. No, that's pretty expensive. A door-to-door salesman can make only about 20 calls a day. But there is a way advertisers can use the human voice and personality to make several million nationwide calls at one time. It's network radio. Radio is people. It's a grocery clerk or an automobile salesman multiplied millions of times. With network radio, people talk to more people at less cost than with any other method of advertising, and with better results. For people sell better than paper. The Screen Directors Playhouse presentation of Broken Arrow, starring James Stewart, Jeff Chandler, and Deborah Paget, will continue in just a moment, after a brief pause for station identification. This is the Screen Directors Playhouse, one of the weekly features on NBC's All-Star Festival of comedy, music, mystery, and drama. Brought to you by the makers of Anacin for the fast relief from the pain of headache, neuritis, and neuralgia, and by RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, first in television. We continue transcribed with the third act of Broken Arrow, starring James Stewart, Jeff Chandler, and Deborah Paget in their original roles of Jeffords, Cochise, and Sansire.
No one wanted the war. No one wanted to stop the fighting. Not Cochise, not the whites. It was all a sacrifice to prestige and honor. And then this man came to Tucson, this General Howard. His hair was white. His eyes were tired. I knew he'd fought in a lot of battles. But he talked of peace. And I thought of Cochise and Sansire, the Indian girl, and Slade, who'd lost his family.
Well, Jeffords?
Who sent you here?
The President of the United States.
With what power?
Full power to make a fair treaty.
Well, fair is a strange word, General. It means different things to different people.
What does it mean to you?
Equality for the Apaches and freedom on their own lands.
I'll agree to that in principle. What else?
The rest you can talk over with Cochise.
Then you'll take me to see him?
Alone? Without soldiers?
If you say so.
All right. Meet him as a great man, General Howard. Tell him the truth. Don't lie. If you do, he'll hate you and your kind forever, and I'll hate with him. Sansire, I've been away almost a moon. Has anything changed with you?
No. When you went away, I became frightened. I was afraid that you would find your own people sweet again and that you would forget Sansire.
Can I forget that there is a special and a wonderful and a lasting thing between us? Can you forget?
Oh, I tremble inside. My hands.
Well, let me touch your lips.
I feel... Oh, Tom. Tom, we cannot come together like this anymore.
But why not?
Someone else has asked for me while you were gone.
Who?
Nailze.
Nailze? He was the one who captured me that day when I was with the Apache boy.
He hates you and he wants me for his wife.
And you?
I refused. But my parents want him. He is an important man.
Sansire, hear me. I will not lose you. If it is needed, I'll take you so far away that no one will ever find us again.
If it is needed, Tom, I will go with you.
I am glad of your return, Tom.
I've come, Cochise, to speak of important things.
First, you must listen. In this land, the birds are the friends of the Indian. They tell me that in Tucson you defended me against your own people. You are my friend, tall one. I trust you.
Cochise, you know that I have long held a dream of peace in my heart. And now I bring you word of an honorable peace, a peace that will give you your lands and give you freedom.
And who sends this word?
An American general at Tucson, a General Howard.
Other generals have come before. I spit on their peace.
This one speaks with a straight tongue. He says you will have your own lands. There will be no soldiers.
What lands?
That you must decide with him. If you wish, your people will live right here where they live now.
Why does he make such an offer?
Well, perhaps because the Apache has fought so long and so well.
I will think on it. There is something else I wish to speak about. The girl, Sansire.
Yes?
It is not permitted for you to be friendly with her. She has been asked for.
Tom, we must not be seen together.
Well, then, only a little while. There's so much to talk about.
Much unhappiness.
Cochise is my friend, yet he tells me I cannot see you.
We had a dream. Now we're away.
No. No, I'll speak to your parents tonight.
They would not have you. It would be an insult to Nailze. Much trouble would be made.
It causes trouble already.
Cochise,
You are my friend. Why must I track you in the woods like an enemy?
am I an enemy because I love one of your people?
I have told you she is not for you.
I want her for my wife. I will do all the things that are expected of a husband here.
I refused Nailze once. I will again.
So, I am glad it is the right way. But it will not be easy for you, Tallman.
Tell me what I must do.
To live with this girl and be happy, you must make time run backwards. You must be born again, born an Apache, raised as an Apache, and live as an Apache.
I am white. We must speak of things as they are.
Yes. Where will you live, then? Here?
If Sonsiero wishes it.
There will always be Apaches who have suffered from white men who will hate you for it.
Then we will live in Tucson.
Will there not always be whites there who will hate you because of the color of your skin?
Cochise, you speak as our friend, but know this. I've thought much already. I will marry Sonsiere.
It is what we wish.
Then I cannot say more against it. Tall One, you will need the strongest go-between you can find.
Will you act for me?
No other can do it. I will speak for you tonight.
And Nailze?
I shall also speak to him. He has bad luck. It has happened to other men.
I will wait for you in my hut.
Yes. And walk up and down. It is good for people in love.
Tall One?
Cochise, come in. Now, what did her parents say?
You have no luck with women. They refused.
Well, then I'll take her away. They can't force us.
Oh, I make a joke. It is always a good joke. They did not refuse.
Oh. Well, then we'll be married.
It is all arranged. The marriage will be at the next full moon. The parents will want 3 good horses and saddles.
I'll bring them from Tucson.
No, I will give these things. For a friend. Now, I wish to speak of this General Howard. You trust him?
Yes.
Then return to Tucson. Bring him to me.
And there is a chance of peace?
I give no promises. I will send out runners tomorrow. Apaches from all the tribes must come here to talk.
I'll write all these things down that you have said. I'll speak of them with General Howard.
Write them, my brother. But remember, there are no promises. Sleep well.
I see paper and pencil. And around here someplace. Oh, the saddlebag, maybe. What the devil?
Wait, I.
What? Nailze.
Once I promised you death. Now I bring it and wash out the shame of Sansire. Nailze!
You come with a knife to the tent of my friend. We talk of peace, and you come with a knife. Give me your rifle, Tall One. Now, he'll say we will go outside. In battle, I have had no one like you, Nailze. Our lives were often mixed. Now it is ended. You have betrayed our people. Now the Tall One can face the General with the truth of Cochise in his heart.
Here is something you should know if you ever suffer from the sudden pain of headaches, neuritis, or neuralgia. It's a way to ease the pain, often within a few minutes. A way that is incredibly fast and effective. It's Anacin. Anacin is like a doctor's prescription. That is, Anacin contains not just one, but a combination of medically proven active ingredients in easy-to-take tablet form. Thousands of people were first introduced to Anacin through their own physicians or dentists. But today, these tablets are in such widespread use that all drug counters have them, and anyone may enjoy their benefits. The next time you suffer from the pains of a headache, neuritis, or neuralgia, by all means try Anacin. You'll like the convenience of Anacin tablets, and you'll be delighted with Anacin's incredibly fast action. Anacin. Anacin. Ask for Anacin by name today at your druggist's.
I went back to Tucson for General Howard, and together we returned to the stronghold of Cochise. And together we waited while Cochise and the other Indian leaders discussed our peace offer. We could hear them arguing. Sometimes their voices were angry. We had to be patient. It was very hard on the general. I had something else to think about. Sincere. And we'd meet for a few minutes, and I'd fill my eyes and my heart with her.
I can stay only a short time. You sit down there, and I will sit here.
Well, you are very distant.
Soon we will be very close. But now we must not even touch our hands.
Well, that's a very cruel law.
No, now is the time I must work. I prepare the clothes for the wedding, and I must build a special hut for our honeymoon, away from everybody. Soon we will ride the white horses to our secret place.
Well, can I help you with your work?
No. In all this, my mother helps and teaches me. And I try to do as I think she did when she was a girl.
There was never another like you, Sincere.
Thank you. Now I must go to my mother.
Jeffords, Cochise is coming.
Goodbye, my sweetheart.
All right, General.
Come, you are wanted at the council.
You explain the map to them?
My brothers have many questions.
We will answer as best we can.
Here is the council place. Go in. You who sit in council, you have asked for Jeffords, the tall one, and the great general from Washington. I bring them to you.
Apaches, you have been told of the map. The map is a picture of your land, the Apache territory, 50,000 square miles. If you make a treaty of peace, this land and this map will be a part of the treaty.
I think this part is good. We keep our mountains, we keep our home. I like it.
If the chief of the white men dies, what will follow?
The treaty will be binding for all time.
I have a question. What if some white man comes to our mountain to take yellow iron? Can we kill him?
The general says that such a man should be captured and given to our military, and that he would be judged and punished.
And what if a white man should kill an Indian on our land?
Then we will hang him for it.
That will be something for Cochise to see. Who else? Who else asks questions? Tall one, you and the general will go now. I will bring you our decision.
May it be blessed by the gods.
General?
Who speaks now? Who gives judgment?
I trust none of it.
Gauclair speaks.
There is only one peace I will accept. We will put all the whites on a reservation, and then we will guard them.
This is not a thing of laughter. If Gauclair finds this peace bitter, then perhaps he will tell us why.
Where will we get blankets, corn, horses? We have always taken these things. Are we to be women now and beg for them?
The American government will give us cattle. We will raise them and trade them for our needs.
It is not the Apache way to be grandmothers to cattle. I am not afraid, I say it. I am an Apache, a warrior. And Gauclair says Cochise has lost his taste for battle. He spits out our victories to drink the milk of surrender. It is not this false peace we need, but a new chief.
Now I talk. I say that the Americans keep cattle, but they are not soft and weak. The Americans are growing stronger, while we are growing weaker. When a big wind comes, a tree must bend or be lifted out by its roots. We will test this peace. We will make a test of it for 3 moons.
Is this your word, then? He who was the mighty Cochise?
I take this arrow, the sign of war. I break it. I will try the way of peace. I have decided. I'll give my word to the American general.
The word of a coward.
Those who stay with me must keep my word. Let all others walk away. From now on, they are no longer my brothers. If more walk away than stay, then I will no longer be your chief.
I walk away. I walk away. Who else comes? 1, 2. Who else?
Go clear, take your women, your children, your horses, your weapons. Leave our territory.
Then I leave my name also. I spit on my Chiricahua name and take the name my Mexican enemies have given me. Learn it well as the whites will learn it, and fear the name Geronimo.
Another drink, Tom?
No, thanks, Milt.
You know, I remember the day you first rode out to Cochise. We didn't expect to see you again.
Got what we wanted, didn't we? Got our peace.
Not yet, we haven't.
All right, Slade. A truce, anyway. 2.5 months to go.
You and Howard have made a treaty with a murderer.
Now, listen, Slade. You and your family have been the victims of a terrible tragedy. But can't you understand this is the end of all that?
You bring my wife back from the grave, and then I'll believe you.
2 days ago, Geronimo and his band attacked a stagecoach. Cochise's Indians chased them away. Apaches protecting white men. Now, isn't that proof enough?
Proof he's waiting for us to go soft. I say let the war go on until Cochise is hanged.
And I say the same thing.
Where will you, Slade?
Well, then wait and see if Cochise breaks the armistice. Just give it a chance, will you? Give it a chance.
So, how is it with the bridegroom?
Well, as with all bridegrooms, Cochise.
Patience, my friend. The ceremony will begin in a little bit. But now I would speak to you of the armistice.
Almost a moon has passed. I think it goes well.
There has been trouble from Geronimo's followers. From now on, we will protect all whites leaving Tucson or Fort Bowie. We will guard Apache Pass also.
These are good plans.
If this peace does not hold, let it be the whites who break it. Must not be the Indians. Not even bad Indians. Now you will forget peace and war. Now you will think only of your bride. Come. The ceremony begins. Here is your Sansire. And here the medicine man.
Oh, Sansire, the gods have made you lovelier than all other creatures.
We must not speak.
Let the woman who is to marry stand here. Let the man who is to marry stand here. Your left hand, woman. Your right hand, man. Now, through this knife does your blood mingle. Now you will kneel upon earth, woman. Now for you there is no rain, for one is shelter to the other. Now for you there is no cold, for one is
Sansire, there's no difference now.
No, we are the same, wife and husband.
I find it strange. I thought so much of peace, but it was always a peace of soldiers. But now I see there is a different kind of peace inside a man.
I find it now. I'm happy.
Do you like that, Tom?
You've made it beautiful. And so I will make your life.
Sometime, will you grow tired of me and go back to your people?
Sincere, you are my people.
Will you tell me that often?
As often as the pebbles in the stream, until finally you will not ask it or think it. And you'll know how much I am your husband.
Soon it will be over.
What, my darling?
Our honeymoon. Only 10 days are allowed. Then we must go back to the village.
10 days together. The world has never seen so many days, my Sincere.
Now you draw the bow carefully. Then let the arrow fly.
Oh, Tom, I could do better.
Well, I have to learn, don't I?
Never mind, Sincere. When he's a grown man, he will know how to use the bow and arrow.
High into the air it went, and right into the canyon.
Tall one, you know that arrows are difficult to make. Now you must bring it back.
You mean go down into the canyon? Well, that's what... Cochise,
Yes?
down there, a white man.
He has no place here.
Well, I know that man. Oh, Slade!
Shepherds! I told you they were thieves.
What are you doing there?
Tracking a stolen horse. Followed the trail right into Cochise's country.
What do you think, Cochise?
None of my people stole his horse. He lies.
I know this man. He's an Indian hater. Now, if we can show him he's wrong, it'll be a good thing.
You speak wisely. We will look.
I would like to come, please.
Why not? Soon the women will go hunting, too.
Oh, Slade!
What?
We want to talk. We're coming down.
Come on over here. I'll show you the trail.
Sincere, you better wait right
Please,
here.
Tom, I want...
Sincere! Cochise, it's you they want.
Sincere. Cochise. What?
You're wounded.
Slade.
My warriors came. He is captured.
Sincere.
She is dead.
Oh, no. Oh, God in heaven, no.
Slade will be tried by your people.
Bring him to me. Give me a knife and bring him to me.
No.
Bring him to me.
It will not be done.
This peace is a lie. They don't want peace.
It is not a lie. This was not done by the military. Even as bad Indians have broken the law, so have bad whites. The armistice must stand. I do not betray my people or their children. No one on my territory will open war again. Not even you.
My wife was buried in the hills behind her home. And my friends came to her grave. Mill, General Howard, a lot of people from Tucson. They came, and soon the armistice period was through, and we had peace. And this is the story I wanted to tell you of Cochise, of my wife, Sincere, whose death sealed the peace, and of how the arrow was broken forever.
Our stars, James Stewart, Jeff Chandler, and Deborah Paget, will return in just a moment. And now here's a word from RCA Victor. Consider this fact. RCA Victor is first in television. That in itself is your assurance that television receivers made by RCA Victor are certainly the best you can buy. To hold this leadership in its field, RCA Victor has had to maintain the highest possible standards of excellence. Perfect examples of these standards can be found in any RCA Victor television set. From inexpensive table model receivers to luxurious big screen consoles, one factor predominates: quality. You can easily recognize RCA Victor's unequaled supremacy in television by looking at clear, bright pictures, the best possible reception. And the cabinetry of every RCA Victor television set in any price range reflects the skilled, experienced craftsmanship for which RCA Victor is world famous. What's more, RCA Victor television is million-proof, quality proven in well over 2 million homes. That, too, is your assurance of complete satisfaction when you buy a television receiver made by RCA Victor. Next week, the Screen Directors Playhouse presents another great motion picture story. Our adaptation will be Raffles, starring Douglas Fairbanks. And now, here again are tonight's stars, James Stewart, Jeff Chandler, and Deborah Paget.
Deborah, Jeff, well, this looks like a real Broken Arrow reunion. The gang's all here, isn't it?
All except the horses.
And the director.
Well, the sound man's already gone home, so we can't do much about the horses.
But we can bring out the director. So, ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy and Jeff and I would like to introduce the very talented motion picture artist who guided us through Broken Arrow.
And directed Bird of Paradise, Task Force, Destination Tokyo.
And so many other pictures that bear the name of Delmar Daves.
Thank you, Jeff, Jimmy, Deborah. You all know the idea and the ideal that prompted us to make Broken Arrow. And the audience, after tonight's excellent performance, you also know that the picture is more than just a fascinating story. Through several decades of filmmaking, the camera seldom focused clearly on the American Indian. All too often, he was photographed as a purposeless, murdering savage. If that was motion picture's error, then motion pictures sought to correct it with Broken Arrow and to restore a birthright of honor to a brave and proud people. Thank you, and good night, everyone.
You have been listening to the Screen Directors Playhouse, one of the weekly features on NBC's All-Star Festival of Comedy, Music, Mystery, and Drama. Brought to you by the makers of Anacin for fast relief from the pain of headache, neuritis, and neuralgia, and by RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, first in television. Broken Arrow was presented through the courtesy of 20th Century Fox, producers of the Darrell F. Zanuck Technicolor production, David and Bathsheba, starring Gregory Peck and Susan Hayward. James Stewart will soon be seen in the 20th Century Fox production, Highway in the Sky. Jeff Chandler can now be seen in Iron Man, a Universal International picture, co-starring Evelyn Keyes and Stephen McNally. Deborah Paget appeared through the courtesy of 20th Century Fox Film Corporation, producers of Anne of the Indies. Included in tonight's cast were Ralph Moody, Jerry Farber, Byron Kane, Ry Billsbury, Jan Arvin, Paul Dubov, Herbert Butterfield, Tom Holland, and John Stevenson. Broken Arrow was adapted for radio by Richard Allen Simmons. Screen Directors Playhouse is under the production supervision of Howard Wiley and directed by Bill Karn. Portions of tonight's broadcast were transcribed. This is Jimmy Wallington speaking and inviting you to listen again next Friday when the Screen Directors Playhouse presents Raffles, starring Douglas Fairbanks. Screen Directors Playhouse, star Gregory Peck, production The Gunfighter, director Henry King. This is the Screen Directors Playhouse, one of the weekly features on NBC's All-Star Festival of comedy, music, mystery, and drama. Brought to you by RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, first in television. By Chesterfield, always milder, better tasting, cooler smoking, plus no unpleasant aftertaste. And that's the biggest plus in cigarette history. And by the makers of Anacin, for fast relief from the pain of headache, neuritis, and neuralgia. Tonight, the Screen Directors Playhouse is pleased to present a dramatic story of the Old West. Our adaptation is The Gunfighter, and our star is Gregory Peck. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here is Mr. Gregory Peck.
The breathless excitement of the Old West, when only the smallest fraction of a second stood between breathing and lying still, has been slowly blended by civilization and progress until all that is left are wide open spaces, incredible sunset, and cowboy songs which still tell the fable of those golden days, the days of the gunfighter.
Thank you, Gregory Peck. And now an important word from RCA Victor. Jan Pierce, the great Metropolitan Opera Company tenor, doesn't sing a single note on RCA Victor's exciting new release, What is a Boy? Instead, Jan Pierce's What is a Boy is one of the most unique and heartwarming recitations ever recorded. It's the sentimental story of a boy, a story that captures all the excitement of growing up. And RCA Victor has recorded it for you in all 3 record speeds, 78, long play, and 45. Now you can make it a part of your record collection. These words and this music you'll want to hear again and again. What is a Boy is a wonderful story, beautifully delivered by Jan Pierce and set in a soft background of music composed and conducted by Hugo Winterhalter. Yes, What is a Boy is a hit. Stop in at your record dealers as soon as you can and hear it. Stop in at your record dealers as soon as you can, hear it, and buy this superb recording by RCA Victor. And now the first act of the Screen Directors Playhouse presentation of The Gunfighter, starring Gregory Peck in his original role of Ringo.
This is the story of the great Southwest of the 1890s. A solitary horseman rides slowly over the desert plain. This is Jimmy Ringo. Jimmy Ringo, a name which strikes terror into most that hear it. Jimmy Ringo. Not as young as he used to be, not as full of fire and venom. Notorious, but tired. As his equally tired horse brings him to the door of the Gem Saloon in an absolutely gemless cow town of the early West.
Give me a drink.
Say, why,
Just give me the drink, will you?
You bet your life, Jimmy. It's nice to see you again.
Thanks.
Remember the old Buckhorn in Paso?
You worked there?
5 years ago when Tim O'Leary had it.
You see me there?
Why, sure, all the time. I even remember what brand of whiskey you drink. Why, I can remember the time you were in the Buckhorn.
Know who that is?
Who?
Jimmy Ringo.
Well, what do you know?
He don't look so tough to me.
Well, if he ain't tough, there's been an awful lot of sudden natural deaths in his vicinity.
How many you figure?
10, 12, 15. Depends on who's telling it.
Bet he ain't as fast as Wyatt Earp.
In Dodge City and places like that, they say he is.
He's got just 2 hands like anybody else.
Same number, it looks like, but... Now, wait a minute, Eddie. Eddie, you ain't thinking about anything foolish, are you?
You mean he's so tough I can't even talk to him?
I mean, this ain't no joke, son. That's a real mean man there.
I just want to see how a big, important fellow like that handles himself, that's all. What's wrong with that?
I'm telling you, Eddie, I wouldn't do it if I was you.
How about a little service here, Chuck? If Mr. Frazzlebottom, or whatever his name is, don't object.
Sure. Say, don't you know who that is?
You mean it ain't Mr. Frazzlebottom?
It's Jimmy Ringo, Eddie.
Looks like Mr. Frazzlebottom to me.
Did you ever see anybody a kid like him, Jimmy?
How about a drink, Mr. Frazzlebottom?
No, thanks.
How's that, Mr. Frazzlebottom?
Eddie, please.
Please what? I asked a man to have a drink with me. What's wrong about that? How about it, Mr. Frazzlebottom?
Okay, partner.
I knew Mr. Frazzlebottom wasn't going to pass up a free one.
Don't you understand? It's Jimmy Ringo.
All right, so it's Jimmy Ringo. So what's everybody supposed to do, fall down on the knees?
Just be a little polite, that's all.
Hey, Mr. Ringo. Chuck figures you got a little extra consideration coming to you around here. That right?
No.
How's that, Mr. Ringo? Have to speak up if you want me to hear you.
Why don't you button up your britches and go home?
How'd you like to try to make me, Mr. Ringo?
Now, listen, partner. I come in here minding my own business. Now, how about letting me go out the same way?
I want to know first what you meant by that remark you passed.
I'll tell you what. You bought me a drink. Now I'll buy you one, and then let's drop it. What do you say? Give him a drink.
Never mind the drink. I want to know what you meant by that remark you passed.
Listen, Eddie.
I ain't talking to you. I'm talking to Mr. Ringo. I want to know what he meant by that remark he passed.
How come I got to run into some squirt like you nearly every place I go these days? What are you trying to do, show off in front of your friends?
You ready to back that remark up or not?
Now, what about this, you fellas? You see me standing here, minding my business with a drink in my hand, not even looking at this. What's the matter? Ain't some of you fellas in charge of this donkey?
I'm telling you, Mr. Ringo.
Eddie don't mean no real harm.
Then let Eddie keep his big, ugly nose out of my business if you don't want to get it slapped.
Why, you...
You see that, barkeep?
Yes, sir. He started his draw first.
You fellas see it?
Yeah, you go first, all right. Except I'd get on out of town anyway if I was you.
Why?
Because he's got 3 brothers, one ain't going to care who drew first.
All right. Everybody stay where you are.
He had that drink in his right hand all the time.
Never spilt a drop. What a draw. And with his left.
Those tracks look mighty fresh. Watch careful through these rocks. Ringo went very far ahead.
You're right. Drop those guns.
Like.
I told you to drop them. All of you. Now get down off them horses. Move over that way. Now get. Yeah!
You're not going to leave me out here hurt like this, are you?
You don't walk on your hands. That's all that's hurt. You got about 3 hours walk to Santa Fe, and I'll get going.
Santa Fe is no further than Cayenne. And I'd rather be walking toward you, Ringo.
Suit yourself.
I'm warning you. We're going to get you.
I know. I heard that before, too.
You didn't have no right to throw down on a boy like that.
What was I supposed to do? Stand there and let that little boy shoot me full of holes?
He wasn't no more than a kid.
I said get going. And thanks for the guns.
Remember, Ringo, you just got 3 hours to live.
Give me a drink.
You up early or out late?
Either way you want it, partner, just so I get the drink.
Why, Jimmy Ringo.
Where was it with you?
The men's saloon in Dodge City. You and Bucky Harris used to come in there nearly every night. Don't you remember?
Did we ever get a drink?
Oh, sure, Jimmy. I'm sorry.
What about something to eat? You got a cook around here?
Sure. Got an old woman back there. What do you want, some eggs?
Got a steak?
Yeah, we got a steak.
I'll take a steak and some eggs and a pot of black coffee. What about a place to wash up first?
Right in the back room. I'll show you.
Never mind, I can find it. You get them victuals on the fire.
Right away. Archie, put down that stick horse and run and get the marshal. Tell him Jimmy Ringo's here, and hurry.
All right, where is he?
Now, look, I ain't after any trouble, Mark. I just thought you'd want to know he was here.
Where is he? In the back room?
Yeah, he's getting cleaned up.
All right. Now take it easy, boys, and don't try to jump. Hiya, Jimmy.
Mark. Well, I'll be a son of a gun. Hiya, partner.
I'm fine, Jimmy.
What are you wearing there? Are you joking?
No. I'm the marshal here now.
Well, I'll be darned. And these idle barroom loafers, they your deputies?
Uh-huh.
Well, then you don't need them. I ain't starting anything.
You sure?
It's the last thing I want, Mark, trouble.
All right, boys. What are you doing here, Jimmy?
Marshal Mark Stratton. Now, that's really a good one. But I'm glad for you, Mark. Mighty glad for you.
Thanks. But I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to move on, Jimmy.
Why? I ain't wanted for anything around here, am I?
No. I just want you out of town anyway. And pronto.
Well, I'm afraid I can't accommodate you this time, Mark. Not pronto, anyways.
I don't want to have to insist, Jimmy.
Look, I'm glad to get a chance to talk to you anyway, Mark. I got something I want to talk to you about. It looks to me like you got a gossip on your staff.
That's your public, Jimmy.
Yeah. I'm a big man now.
Well, that's what you wanted, wasn't it? Top gun in the West?
Yeah. Now I guess I got more people wondering when I'm going to get killed than any other man in the country.
You don't seem as happy about it as the last time I saw you. How many is it now, Jim? 11?
12. There's one you ain't heard about yet.
You really keep count?
Oh, don't ask dumb questions, Mark.
Well, what's the trouble now, Jimmy? Somebody after you?
3 somebodies.
The law?
No, this is personal. There's a kid in a bar last night that wanted to be the man that killed Jimmy Ringo. These are his brothers.
How far behind you figure?
Let me take a look at that clock. 11 o'clock. A little under 3 hours now.
You mean they'll be here about 2, huh? How come you can figure that close?
I sort of arranged it that way.
Well, I don't want them to catch up with you here, Jimmy.
I don't want them to catch up with me anywhere.
That's why you've got to move on right away.
Look, you know why I come here, don't you?
I guess I do.
How is she?
She's fine.
And the boy?
Getting on fine.
I want to see her, Mark.
You think she wants to see you?
I got something important to see her about, and then I'll clear out. Now, where'll I find her?
I'm afraid I can't tell you that, Jim.
What do you mean you can't tell me?
All right, then, won't tell you. Because nobody here knows who she is, Jimmy. She's never even told the boy about you. They got another name and another life now. And it looks to me like, well, like that's the way she wants it to stay. How'd you find out she was here?
I've always known where she was, ever since she left me. Well, will you tell me what name she's going under, so I can write?
Nope. Won't tell you that either.
Looks like you're taking quite a lot on your own responsibility, ain't you, Mark?
I'm doing what I think is right, Jimmy. And I'm hoping I could make you see it that way, too.
How'd you like to see that street out there full of gunplay, Mark?
I'd rather not.
Well, that's probably what you're going to have a couple of hours from now. Because I ain't leaving here till you get a hold of Piggy for me.
Look at that crowd out there, peeking in these windows. You think it's possible she don't already know you're here?
That ain't what I'm talking about. I want to see her and talk to her.
And what if she don't want to talk to you?
You let her do the deciding about that.
Will you go then if I tell her?
I told you I would.
All right. I'm going to tell her, Jimmy. Just tell her. I'm not going to make her do one thing about it if she don't want it.
That's all I want, Mark. All I ask is you just leave it to her.
And now, here's a word for discriminating smokers.
You see it in the newspapers. No unpleasant aftertaste. You hear it on the radio. No unpleasant aftertaste. You see it on television. No unpleasant aftertaste when you smoke Chesterfields. It's the biggest plus in cigarette history. Science discovered it. You can prove it. Science discovered that of all brands tested, Chesterfield, and only Chesterfield, leaves no unpleasant aftertaste.
Prove it yourself. Smoke a pack of Chesterfields. They're always milder, better tasting, cooler smoking. And Chesterfield is the cigarette that leaves no unpleasant aftertaste.
That's the biggest plus in cigarette history.
No unpleasant aftertaste.
Science discovered it. Prove it yourself. Buy Chesterfields today.
And now the second act of The Gunfighter, starring Gregory Peck.
Seemed to me like I sat in that saloon for hours. I kept looking at the clock on the wall and wondering how the three brothers were making out on foot through that blazing desert. I couldn't figure they could make it before 2 p.m., but it was getting on. Still no sign of Mark. The mob outside kept growing. It seemed like all the kids in the world were peeking in through the windows. I felt like some kind of a freak. But I knew I'd asked for it. I always wanted to be a famous tough guy. Famous? Well, famous, infamous, there was that crowd out there waiting to get a look at me. And always some young squirt among them with 2 guns on his hip, itching to get a crack at Jimmy Ringo. Then the door opened and Mark walked in, alone.
Nothing doing, Jimmy. She says she's sorry, but that's all there is to it.
Well, did you tell her it was important?
I told her exactly what I told her. And I offered to fix it up for her on the quiet if she wanted to see it.
Well, what else?
What else what?
You sure you didn't talk against me?
Who's asking the dumb questions now?
Well, didn't she give no explanation at all?
What explanation could she give that you don't already know?
I could just talk to her for a few minutes. How does she look, Mark?
Oh, just about the same, I guess. A little older, but just as pretty.
Yeah. Did you see the kid?
No, he's on the loose today.
What do you mean on the loose?
Well, you see them kids outside?
Yeah.
He's one of them.
Well, that's a fine way to bring up a kid. Hanging around in front of a saloon. Ain't you even got a school around here?
Yeah, sure, we got a school. But you broke it up, partner. They all come down to see Jimmy Ringo, the big gun, the great hero.
Does my kid think I'm a kind of a hero?
Nope. As a matter of fact, I understand he's a Wyatt Earp man.
Earp? Well, you ought to taught him better than that.
Me? And where was you all the time? Well, that's it, Jimmy. Will you be moving on now?
Well, I guess so.
I'm sorry it had to be like this, Jimmy.
No, it's not your fault.
Watch yourself, partner.
If I write to her, will you give her a message?
You bet.
Thanks, Mark.
I'll be seeing you, Jim.
Well, I hope so, partner. Don't lay no money on it. So long. How much I owe you, Mac?
No charge, Jimmy. It's an honor to have you.
Oh, thanks. And don't grab this from your wife.
I won't. It's been an honor and a pleasure, Jimmy.
My horse ready?
Ready and waiting. I'll just go out and make sure.
I'll go with you. Back way, Mac.
All right.
Hey!
Oh, I'm sorry. Molly. Oh, Molly Harris.
Jimmy, I didn't know you were here.
Well, take a look outside. You must be the only one in town that didn't.
I work late, so I sleep late.
Work? Where do you work?
Here.
What do you mean, here in the saloon?
I'm a singer, Jimmy. You heard of singers, haven't you? Don't you want to buy me a little drink, honey?
I don't get it. Why, Molly?
You gotta live, haven't you?
Yeah, but where's Bucky?
You didn't hear?
Hear what?
Bucky was killed in Abilene 6 months ago.
No, I didn't hear. I'm sorry, Molly. Who did it?
I don't know. They found him in an alley, shot through the back of the head.
Well, didn't he leave you anything?
Mm-hmm. A horse and a saddle, 2 guns, and $15.
He's the biggest gun of them all. Yeah, that figures. I never heard a word about it, Molly.
Have you seen Peggy?
No. Do you?
When I can. But it doesn't do a school teacher any good to be seen with a palace girl, you know.
Molly.
Yeah?
I want to ask you something.
Sure, Jim.
Peggy wouldn't see me. Is it somebody else?
Ah, you ought to know better than that,
No, I
Jim.
don't. It's been a long time.
There'll never be anybody else for Peggy.
Has anybody else tried?
Well, of course. Pretty girl like that. But a fellow around here named Hunt Bromley got after her. A no-good barroom loafer who thought she couldn't take care of herself. You should have heard her tell him off.
What did he do to her?
Ah, nothing, not really. You know, just one of those loud mouths trying to move in on a woman without a husband. You know the kind.
You see Jimmy, too?
Whenever I see her.
What kind of a boy is he?
Ah, he's a good kid. Peggy takes real good care of him.
What is he? Is he big or little?
Oh, he's big. About right for 8.
8 and a half.
Look, Jimmy, do you want me to go talk to Peggy?
No, Mark already talked to her. She said no.
Let me talk to her,
Let me see what time it is.
It's 1 o'clock. Why, are you in some kind of a hurry?
Well, yeah, but you think there's a chance I'll stick around a little while longer anyway?
You wait here. I'll get her for you.
Well, it don't take long. I'm a little behind schedule already.
I won't be long.
Morning, Molly.
Out of my way.
Right.
Rye coming up, Hunt.
Hey, since when do I have to drink second-hand whiskey here, Mac?
Well, that's the brand you always drink, Hunt.
Now, this whiskey's been watered.
No, it ain't. You know I don't water my whiskey. I've never done that in my whole life.
If I say it's watered, Mac, it's watered, and I'm going to prove it to you. You give everybody in this room a drink out of that same bottle, and let's see what they got to say about it.
Hunt, there ain't a thing in the world the matter with that whiskey.
You heard what I said, Mac. And don't forget the gentleman sitting over there at that table alone. I'd like to have his opinion, too.
Now, please, Hunt, let's don't have no trouble here
Yeah,
now.
give me that bottle. I'll go ask him myself. Hey, I want you to settle a little argument, Mr. Ringo.
Why should I?
Well, you got quite a reputation for settling arguments, haven't you?
Only my own.
Well, you could say this one included you in a way. I say Mac here waters his whiskey.
And you're kind of dumb to drink here, ain't you?
I'll pour you a drink, and then you tell me what you think.
You needn't trouble yourself. I got my own bottle.
You ain't very sociable, are you? Maybe if you got to know me a little better.
I don't have to know you any better. Looks to me like there's a squirt like you in every town in the West. Now, get away from here.
That's kind of strong talk, ain't it, Mr. Ringo?
You're Hunt Bromley, ain't you?
Yeah. You heard of me already?
Yeah, I heard of you. I heard you were a cheap, no-good barroom loafer. If I didn't have something else in my mind, I'd take that gun away from you and slap you cross-eyed.
You're asking for trouble, Mr. Ringo.
Well, you already got it, partner. Because I got a gun on you under this table. Pointing smack at your belly. Are you going to get out of here or not?
I'm kind of disappointed in you, Mr. Ringo.
We heard a lot about you around here. I guess they forgot to tell us about that gun under the table.
Well, the older you grow, the more you learn, son. Now, you just turn around and head for the door. Keep moving. And don't do anything sudden with your hands.
Be seeing you, Mr. Ringo.
All the way outside, Sonny.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. He's only a fresh kid.
Yeah, I know, Mac. There's one in every town. They all want to grow up by killing Jimmy Ringo.
You can put that gun away now, Jimmy.
What gun's that, Mac? All I got in my hands is this little pocket knife.
And then you should have seen our big tough boy turn tail. Ringo bluffed him with only a knife.
Mac, you talk too much.
Did he scare you a little, Hunt?
You lay off me, Mac.
You better get dry behind the ears, huh?
You keep your mouth shut.
Bluffed with a jackknife.
Mac, I warn you. You shut your big mouth.
How'd you like to see Ringo and Wyatt Earp square off at each other?
Brother, I wouldn't want to be in the same town when that happened.
Now, why don't you fellas shut up? I gave him a chance to show how good he was, didn't I? And I still say he's yelling.
Took a lot of nerve, though, to bluff like that with you standing there wearing two guns.
What would you have done? Looked under the table?
I wouldn't have been there in the first place.
He's the one that ducked out on the showdown, not me.
Bromley,
Yeah?
I want to talk to you. Come on.
I'll be over when I get the time.
You'll come now.
Who said?
If I see one of your hands even twitch, I'll crush your head just like an egg. Now get going.
You wouldn't dare say that to me if you carried a gun.
I don't need a gun. Come on. How come you went in over there and tried to pick a fight with Ringo?
You don't have to worry about me, Pappy. I can take care of myself.
I wish I had $100 for every blabbermouth I've heard say that.
He's yelling. I learned that much anyways.
All right, then, Buffalo Bill. I see it ain't no use to warn you, so I'm going to tell you. Either I'm going to lock you up in a cell until he's gone, or you're going to get out of town for the rest of the day. Now, which is it going to be?
Me get out of town? What about getting him out?
When you're the marshal, you can do the deciding. Meanwhile, you let me handle the job, huh? Now, what do you like, the cell or the road?
Looks like you're being mighty careful about that killing.
I just don't want any great, big, terrible men like you scaring them to death.
How long you known Ringo?
You want to be locked up?
No.
Then get going, south. And I don't want to see you back around here before sundown. You understand?
Who's going to make me, Softy?
If you ever call me that again, I'll take your little pistol away from you and make you eat it.
Don't you ever try that, Mark.
I won't try. I'll do it. Now get going. Jimmy.
Yeah, Mark?
I'm sending a deputy over here to sit with you. I got to follow your young friend out of town.
Oh, Bromley.
Yeah. I'm going to keep peace here today if I have to lock up every gunny in town. Now, my deputy's name is Charlie, and he's going to sit here with a rifle across his knees. Let him in.
All right, Mark. I won't interfere with justice. Tell him to come in and have a drink. Can you do anything about that mob outside the window?
Well, why don't you make a speech? They're all here to see you.
Well, if that don't work, I'll get your deputy to shoot him.
It's after 1 o'clock. I want you out of here before 2, Jim. I got no business letting you stay here this long. I saw Molly. And if Peggy wants to change her mind, you got 5 minutes. Understand?
Fair enough, Mark. Thanks. Don't think those 3 brothers would give me any more time anyway.
You'll be lucky if they give you that much. You shoot this one out, Jim, someplace else.
No matter what you now take for headache relief, we urge you to try Anacin for the incredibly fast relief these tablets bring the next time you're suffering from a headache. Now, the reason Anacin is so wonderfully fast-acting and effective is this. Anacin is like a doctor's prescription. That is, Anacin contains not just one, but a combination of medically proven active ingredients in easy-to-take tablet form. Thousands of people have received envelopes containing Anacin tablets from their own dentist or physician, and in this way discovered the incredibly fast relief Anacin brings from pains of headache, neuritis, or neuralgia. So the next time a headache strikes, take Anacin for this wonderfully fast relief. Anacin. A-N-A-C-I-N. Anacin. At any drug counter in handy boxes of 12 and 30. Economical family-sized bottles of 50 and 100. You are listening to the Screen Director's Playhouse, one of the weekly features on NBC's All-Star Festival. Brought to you by RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, first in television. By Chesterfield, always milder, better tasting, cooler smoking, plus no unpleasant aftertaste. And that's the biggest plus in cigarette history. And by the makers of Anacin for fast relief from the pain of headache, neuritis, and neuralgia. The Screen Director's Playhouse presentation of The Gunfighter, starring Gregory Peck, will continue in just a moment after a brief pause for station identification. This is the Screen Director's Playhouse. We continue with the third act of The Gunfighter, starring Gregory Peck in his original role of Ringo with Wally Mayer as Mark Strett.
So I waited. Sitting there in the palace bar, I felt like I'd been there for years, knowing that those three brothers were getting closer to town every minute. I didn't want to make any trouble, but I couldn't figure any other way of getting out of town without shooting our way out once they'd arrived. Well, I stood it as long as I could. And then I told Mark's deputy to take me out the back way and around to the marshal's office. I decided to wait for Mark or Molly or Peggy or whoever came first over there. I had to get out of that saloon. The deputy left me alone, and I sat at Mark's desk.
Oh, where is he?
Beg pardon, ma'am?
Where is the marshal? I am Mrs. August Pennyfeather.
How do you do, Mr. Pennyfeather? The marshal ain't here now. I don't know just where he is.
I will wait.
Yes, ma'am, do. Won't you have a chair?
Who are you, deputy?
No. Oh, just a friend.
He wouldn't be over there in the saloon arresting that murderer, would he?
Well, no, ma'am, I don't think he is.
Well, doesn't he intend to?
That I couldn't say, ma'am. I ain't sure just what he's going to do about it.
Well, he'd better be making up his mind pretty soon. This is not Deadwood or Tombstone. This is a law-abiding community, and we want no murderers running wild through our streets, shooting and killing our women and children.
Well, he ain't exactly running wild through the streets, ma'am.
Well, he's a murderer, isn't he?
Is he?
What else, pray tell, after all those killings?
Well, I mean, well, maybe he don't think he is.
And he must be a fool, too.
I'm just guessing, you understand, lady, but maybe he figures it was either him or them.
What do you mean, him or them?
I mean, maybe there was some misunderstandings, and it was either him or them that was going to get killed.
50 misunderstandings in a row?
Oh, not 50, ma'am. Nowhere's near it. Well, it was a lot nearer 15 than 50, and I can tell you that for a fact.
What are you trying to do? Take up for him?
Oh, no, ma'am. No, indeed. No, indeed. No, not me.
Well, then, don't you think something ought to be done about it?
Absolutely. He ought to be arrested or run out of town or something.
He ought to be hung.
Yes'm. Yes'm, there's a lot to be said for that point of view, too.
Good morning, Mrs. Pennyfeather.
Good morning, Marshal.
Well, you're late.
Late?
Yes, ma'am. I kind of figured you'd be around here long before now.
What do you intend to do about the man?
Nothing, ma'am.
You're going to allow him to sit right there in that saloon as long as he pleases, demoralizing the whole town?
Well, now, ma'am, the trouble so far ain't been him demoralizing the town. It's the town demoralizing him. He ain't done nothing.
I am here simply to remind you, Marshal Stret, that it is your sworn duty to keep peace in Cayenne.
That's right, ma'am, and that's what I'm aiming to do to the best of my ability.
Moreover, speaking for the ladies of Cayenne, I am forced to tell you that I regard it as an outrage that this man Ringo, a notorious murderer, should be received here practically with honor and allowed to sit in state in our finest saloon. So now, Mr. Marshal, I demand that you do something about it immediately.
Such as what, ma'am?
Either arrest him or chase him out of town.
Well, now, just a minute, Mrs. Pennyfeather. Mister, what do you think?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Well, he's planning to leave anyway, ain't he?
Well, that's the way I understand it. What do you figure would happen if I tried to chase him out?
I don't think you could do it and keep the peace at the same time.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Can't you arrest him?
Well, he ain't done nothing here to be arrested for.
Well, isn't he wanted?
Not by me, ma'am.
I'm just a stranger here myself, ma'am, but if you was to ask me, I'd say hold off for another hour. Don't do anything that might make trouble for that long. And if he ain't gone by then let the marshal go to work on him.
Shoot him down like a dog.
Exactly, ma'am.
That sounds very sensible. I think I can get the rest of the ladies to agree.
That all right, then, Mrs. Pennyfeather?
Yes, it's fine. That's the way we'll have it. Thank you very much, Marshal. That's a very reasonable, intelligent idea.
Oh, don't thank me, ma'am. Thank Mr. Ringo.
Oh, but of course. Thank you very much, Mr. Ringo! Oh!
What are you doing here, Jimmy?
I couldn't stand that saloon anymore. I'm waiting for Molly. She said she'd talk to Peggy.
I know. She's over there now. You know the clock's still ticking, don't you?
Yeah, I know.
You know those three guys could have picked up 3 horses, don't you?
Yeah, I thought about that.
Well, you better think about getting out of here.
I'll be all right.
It's 2:00.
I still got 7 minutes.
I hope so. I hope you ain't miscalculated any. Now, get out this back door and back to the palace. If Molly has convinced Peggy to see you, it better be fast.
Have a drink, Jimmy? Oh, thanks, Mac.
Well, it don't look like anything's going to happen for you, Jimmy.
I'm going to give her till the last minute.
You don't want to draw it too close, you know.
I got to hear something, Mark, no matter how close I draw it.
Well, if Molly ain't back pretty soon, you ain't going to be here to hear anything.
Molly told me about Bucky. I never heard it before.
I guess he never knew what hit him.
Yeah. It's a fine life, ain't it? Just trying to stay alive. Not really living, not enjoying anything, not getting anywhere. Just trying to keep from getting killed.
That's what Bucky used to say.
Just waiting to get knocked off by some tough kid just like the kind of kid I was.
And the truth of the matter is it don't pay much either.
Here I am, 35 years old, and I ain't even got a good watch. How'd you get out of it, Mark?
Well, I just quit.
Ah, ain't that easy. How'd you do it, really?
You remember when the gang split up after that bank job in Medina?
We didn't split up. They scattered us.
Well, anyway, some of us put into Prairie City to get some supplies. But the word was ahead of us, and you should have seen what we walked into.
Yeah, I heard.
Did you hear about the little girl?
No.
I got sick when I saw her.
Who did it?
Who knows with all that shooting? Could have been me just as well as anybody else.
Well, you don't know that.
It don't matter. I was there. So when we got back to the hills, I just kept a-going. And I kept on a-going until I got here and asked a man for a job.
Didn't anybody ever say anything?
I wasn't as prominent as you are.
Funny.
What?
Well, that was the time I could have kept on going, too. Yeah, I could have rode right on back to Peggy.
I used to wonder about going back and giving myself up. But I finally argued myself out of that one, thank goodness.
Mark, I'm glad for you. Ain't gonna make any more trouble for you either. Not much use in my waiting around here anymore.
Well, you can write to me, and I'll give it to her if you want.
Wouldn't do any good. She's got her mind made up now.
No place she could reach you, I reckon?
No. I don't know where I'm gonna be. So long, Mac.
Your horse is ready outside, Jimmy. Good luck.
Thanks, Mark.
Jimmy.
Mark, wait here. You look fine, Peggy.
I'm doing all right.
I came here just to see you, you know.
I know. Mark told me. But I just didn't know what to do, Jim.
Well, it's all right now. How's Jimmy?
He's a lot like you, I'm afraid.
Well, don't you think you better do something about that right quick?
Oh, I was just joking. He's a little wild like all kids. But he's a good boy.
Did you know he's out there in front right now?
I've taken him away once, but it looks like the whole town's crazy today. I never saw anything like it.
I looked out there at him, but I couldn't see no kid that looked like me.
Oh, he's still there, I'm afraid.
Did Mark or Molly tell you what I want?
No.
I want to get away from here, Peggy. I want to get out of this part of the country. See if we can't find us a little ranch, maybe. You and me and Jimmy.
I wish you'd thought of this before.
Oh, we can still do it, honey. I could go on out to California or the Northwest where they ain't never heard of me before. See if I couldn't find us a little place. Then you and Jimmy could pack up and come on out there later. Why, they would never know who we were. We could be safe out there the rest of our lives.
When'd you get this idea, Jim?
Well, I didn't get it. It just kind of come over me. The way getting older comes over you. All of a sudden, you look at things different than the way you did 5 years ago. All of a sudden, I knew this was the only thing in the world I wanted. You and me and Jimmy. Together on a little place somewhere.
Oh, it's a wonderful idea, Jim. It's wonderful. But it's no use.
Why not?
It's too late.
Why? Mark done it.
8 years ago, but you could not now. You're too well known. Listen, Jim, the only reason Mark doesn't arrest you is that he's Mark and you're his friend. But you can't depend on things like that forever. And one of these days, the federal officers will pick up your trail, and that'll be the end of it. They'll never give up, not as long as you live.
Well, what about South America? We can meet in New Orleans, get on a boat and... What's the matter, Peggy? Don't you love me?
You don't have to ask me that, Jim.
I've changed, you know. I'm different now, Peg. I just want to be somewhere. Don't you understand?
Oh, look, darling, if it were just you and me, I'd do it. I'd go with you this very minute anywhere in the world you wanted to go. But it's not just you and me. There's Jimmy, too.
Oh, we can take him with us.
No, Jim, no. No, we could run and hide and dodge the law all the rest of our lives, but not a little boy like him. He wouldn't understand. Don't you see?
Jimmy,
Give me another minute, will you?
it's late.
It's all right, I tell you. I got plenty of time. They're walking.
Looks like they must have been running some. 3 strangers walked into the palace, asked where you were, walked out, and nobody's seen them since. Look like brothers.
All right, just one more minute.
Somebody's after you.
Never mind that. Listen, a year from now, if I come back, if I've been all right the whole year, will you talk to me about it again?
No, Jim, it's no use. It's too late.
Just talk to me, that's all. Maybe you'll feel different. Something might have happened. Nobody knows what can happen in a year. You've got to say you'll talk to me about it again.
Jimmy!
I will.
Oh, we can make it, honey. We can make it. You just wait and see. All right, where are you, Grandma?
Now, look, Jimmy.
Now, you listen to me, Mark. I've got to have 5 minutes more. I want to see my kid.
With 3 guys in town looking for you?
Oh, no, Jim, you can't do that.
I'm sorry, but my mind is made up. So get him, honey. I don't care how you do it, but get him. I won't move. Bring him right here to this room.
What are you trying to do? Mess up the kid's whole life, too?
I ain't trying to mess up anything. I just want to see my kid.
But how can I fix it so he won't know?
You can do it, honey. You'll think of something. But I ain't leaving until I see him alone. Me and him, right in this room. I don't care if there's 300 brothers hid all over town.
Can you hurry it up, Peg?
I'll try.
All I know is it's been 8 years since I seen my own kid. And it ain't going to be another 8 years before I see him again.
I'm sure glad you don't drop into town every morning. Now, look. I'm walking out of here. And when I walk back in, you're leaving town. Forget you ever saw me before. The next time I come in, you're looking at the Marshal of Cayenne.
You to bust into a room like that?
Nobody.
Well, don't ever do it again. You knock first and wait till somebody answers. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Now shut the door.
Yes, sir. Are you really Jimmy Ringo?
Sure I am. What makes you think I'm not?
You didn't draw when I kicked in that door.
Draw on an unarmed man? Never did that in my life. You got to give everybody a fair chance, don't you?
Yeah, I guess so. Miss Molly Harris said you wanted to see me.
Yeah, that's right.
What about?
I'll tell you in a minute. How old are you?
9.
You're 8 and a half.
How'd you know?
Well, I got my ways. What grade you in?
The 3rd. Honest.
You know what grade I was in when I was your age?
What?
The 7th.
At 8 and a half?
Well, I was in the 6th anyways.
You was in the 6th grade at 8 and a half?
Well, I wasn't far from it. They tell me that you're a Wyatt Earp man.
Yeah. Did you ever meet Wyatt Earp?
Yeah, I see them once or twice.
Is he the toughest man you ever saw?
In the bunch I run with, we'd have spanked Wyatt Earp's britches with his own pistol.
Really?
Why, the real tough ones laugh at Earp.
Who's the toughest one you ever saw?
You mean the real toughest?
Yes, sir. Besides you.
Well, I guess I never seen anybody tougher than a fellow you got right here in your own hometown. A fellow by the name of Mark Strett.
You mean old Softy?
Softy? He's the toughest man I ever met.
But Softy don't even carry a gun.
He don't have to, son. He can handle them barehanded. Don't you ever tangle with that old Softy.
No, sir. What's the matter?
Nothing.
What are you looking at, then?
I'm looking at you. Because now I'll tell you what I wanted to see you about. You see them kids out front?
Yes, sir.
Why ain't they in school?
We came down to see what's going on.
Yeah, well, they got no business hanging around in front of a saloon. I want you to get them out of there.
Well, I don't know if I can or not.
What do you mean you don't know whether you can or not? When I asked for somebody to handle this situation, why, Miss Harris told me you were the smartest kid in town. That's why I sent for you.
Well, I'll try.
Don't try. You do it. You get them boys out of there the way Mark Strett would. You understand?
Yes, sir.
That's a good boy. I guess we picked out the right fella after all. Well, he's all right, lady. You got a good boy there.
Thank you.
Well, I'll be going now. Bye, ma'am. You take good care of yourself.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, son.
Goodbye, Mr. Ringo. I hope I see you again sometime.
Well, what about next year?
Will you really?
You be watching for me a year from today.
Goodbye.
Sorry, Jimmy.
Sorry for what? A year ain't nothing. I can ride out for that long. Look out for her, will you?
You bet.
Much obliged to you, Mark.
Oh, that's all right, partner. You may make it at that. I got 2 deputies all over town watching for those 3 guys to show up.
You take pretty good care of me, don't you?
I'm thinking about how nice and quiet the street looks. I aim to keep it that way. Come on. All clear. Get going, cowboy.
Hold it. Oh, what's the matter?
Coming around the corner.
Those look like any three brothers you know?
Well, they sure do. But they ain't wearing guns.
Look behind them.
Your deputy looks right good holding that rifle on him.
Charlie, take him down to jail and lock him up until morning. Well, Jim, for the first time, I'm beginning to hope.
Well, you just keep on hoping. You tell Peggy I'll be back.
I'll walk with you to your horse.
Thanks, Mark, for everything you've done.
Play it straight, Jimmy. And keep it that way.
So long, Mark.
Bye, Jimmy.
How about it, Ringo?
Bromley. Jimmy. Jimmy.
Hunt Bromley got Ringo. Hunt Bromley got Ringo.
Hold on to Bromley. Just hold him right where he is. The doc will be here in a minute. He'll be here in a minute, Jim. Just lay still. Lay still. You'll be all right.
That boy.
Hunt. We got him. We got him, son. He ain't getting away with it.
No. I drew first. I was ahead of him.
I seen it, Jimmy. His gun was drawed when he braced you. I seen who drew first.
You heard what I said, Mark. I drew first. Now, don't argue with me. I know what I'm doing.
I'm right here, Ringo. You don't have to do me no favors, Pappy.
I was doing you a favor. Let him hang you right now. Get it over with. I want you to get off that light. I want you to go on being a big, tough gunny. I want you to see what it means to have to live like a big, tough gunny. Don't thank me yet, partner. You'll see what I mean. Just wait. Just you.
Jimmy. Jimmy! All right, boys. Take over. Bromley,
You're doing the talking.
come on! You've been asking for this for a long time. Now, you look here. Don't say anything, Hunt. Don't you talk to me. Don't say one word to me. You can't talk to me, I tell you. I'll kill you if you do. You understand me? Now, you stay where you are and listen to me, you yellow belly. Ringo's fixed you good. And you're going to get it exactly like you gave it to him. Because there's 1,000 cheap, dirty, crooked little squirts like you waiting right now for the chance to kill the man that killed Jimmy Ringo. But it ain't going to be here, Sonny. Not in my territory, it ain't. So now, go on, get going. And I know you're not comfortable without your gun. So there. There it is. Now you go get killed someplace else.
You're smart, ain't you? Too big a man to carry a gun, ain't you? Who's smart now? You start saying you...
Why, you little thing! You'll never be fit to shine the boots of Jimmy Ringo! Oh, you. And that's just the beginning. Tough boy.
Sorry, but there ain't no more room, Mrs. Walsh. Ain't another seat in the place except what they held for the family. And there ain't no family.
Is Mark inside?
Yes'm, he's inside.
Will you tell him that Mrs. Ringo would like to see him?
Mrs.
Ringo. Mrs. Jimmy Ringo.
And his little boy.
Yes'm, Mrs. Ringo.
Peggy.
Yes, Mark?
Come in. Mrs. Ringo.
Thank you, Gregory Peck, for a most exciting performance. We wish to congratulate you for having received the Silver Spurs Award at Reno 2 weeks ago for the best Western performance of 1950. Our star will return in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Next week, the Screen Directors Playhouse will bring you an adaptation of a hilarious comedy starring Bob Hope. And on June the 21st, our adaptation will be DOA, starring Edmund O'Brien with Peggy Castle and screen director Rudolph Mattei. Now, here again is tonight's star, Gregory Peck.
In the motion picture industry, ladies and gentlemen, you hear and read a great deal about stars and not nearly enough about directors. I know how much they mean to a picture, so I'm more than happy to introduce the new president of the Screen Directors Guild, Mr. George Sidney.
Thank you, Greg. I am sincerely glad to have this opportunity to say a word to the loyal audience of our Screen Directors Playhouse. This program fills a great need in our industry, and it affords deserved recognition to the director and the opportunity for the director to meet the public he serves. On behalf of the members of the Screen Directors Guild of America, I want to thank you, yes, you, our radio audience, and all the wonderful people who have helped make this program possible. Good night.
Good night, George.
Gunfighter was presented through the courtesy of 20th Century Fox, producers of On the Riviera in Technicolor, starring Danny Kaye, Gene Tierney, and Corinne Calvé. Included in tonight's cast were Byron Kane, Ted DeCorsia, Sam Edwards, Grace Lennard, Tom Holland, Ruth Parrott, Betty Lou Gerson, and Jeffrey Silver. Wally Mayer played Mark Strett. Gregory Peck may soon be seen in the Warner Brothers production, Captain Horatio Hornblower. The Gunfighter was adapted for radio by Nat Wolfe. Screen Directors Playhouse is under the production supervision of Howard Wiley and is directed by Bill Karn. This is Jimmy Wallington speaking and inviting you to listen again next week when the Screen Directors Playhouse will bring you an hilarious comedy starring Bob Hope. Screen Directors Playhouse stars Dick Powell, Peggy Dow, and Alex Nico. Production, Rogues Regiment. Director, Robert Flory. This is the Screen Directors Playhouse, one of the weekly features on NBC's All-Star Festival of Comedy, Music, Mystery, and Drama. Brought to you by RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, first in television. By Cannon Towels, famous for color, for design, for durability. Among towels, America's #1 bestseller. And by the makers of Anacin, for the fast relief from the pain of headache, neuritis, and neuralgia. Tonight, the Screen Directors Playhouse is pleased to present transcribed for the first time on the air an exciting story of adventure and intrigue. Our adaptation is the screenplay Rogues Regiment, and our stars Dick Powell and Peggy Dow with Alex Nico. Before we begin the first act of tonight's Screen Directors Playhouse production, here's Dick Powell.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's presentation, Rogues Regiment, deals with the apprehension of one of the world's most despicable killers. Not a fictional character, but one of true life. the Nazi whom we shall call Martin Brunner, the butcher of Dachau. We leave to your imagination who this character really is. Now, before we begin, here's Jimmy Wallington.
Thank you, Dick. And here's a very important word from RCA Victor. That word is Fairfield. And RCA Victor's superb new Fairfield is the last word in console television. It's better looking in every way. Better looking television. RCA Victor television that has been quality proven in over 2 million homes. It's 17-inch television with clear, bright pictures. Steady pictures that are locked in place by RCA Victor's exclusive eyewitness picture synchronizer. Better looking cabinet, too. For in the Fairfield, RCA Victor stylists have captured all the charm and dignity of the classic design. Every line, every detail of this fine furniture piece exhibits the craftsmanship for which RCA Victor is famous. And its beautifully figured doors can play such an important part when the set is not in use. Yes, the Fairfield is better looking in every way. So next chance you get, step into your RCA Victor dealers. See and hear the exciting new Fairfield. You, too, will discover that the RCA Victor Fairfield is better looking in every way. Now, the first act of the Screen Directors Playhouse presentation of Rogue's Regiment, starring Dick Powell in his original role of Major Corbett, Peggy Dow as Lily, with Alex Nicole as Van Ratten. January 1949, to Commanding General, Army of Occupation, from Major Whitfield Corbett, United States Military Intelligence, Headquarters, Frankfurt, Germany. To make this report comprehensible, it is essential to refer to the circumstances which caused the following investigation to be made. It began in Berlin, inside the ruins of a small garden. Two men wearing the uniforms of the SS Elite Guard, now identified as Colonel Martin Brunner and Lieutenant Heindorf, stood staring down at the ground where two human figures lay side by side, wrapped completely in gasoline-soaked army blankets. Then a lighted match was thrown into the pile. Instantly, a tremendous sheet of flame burst up from the funeral pile. And so it was, on April 30th, 1945, that man's greatest insanity upon this earth, Adolf Hitler, was destroyed, together with the woman, Eva Braun. A few months later, the trials began at Nuremberg. One by one, the Nazi war leaders faced the cold, factual testimony of their crimes and heard their sentences read.
Hermann Goering, to be hanged. Joachim von Ribbentrop, to be hanged. Rudolf Hess, life in prison. Julius Streicher, to be hanged. Alfred Jodl, to be hanged. Karl Denitz, to be hanged. Alfred Rosenberg, to be hanged. Ernst Kaltenbrunner, to be hanged.
3 years later, only one important name remained unchecked on that infamous list. The only top-ranking Nazi still alive who had not been found. Martin Brunner.
Have a seat, Major.
Thank you, sir.
Ever see a picture of Martin Brunner?
No, sir. My information is that the German High Command issued strict orders in 1935 that he was never to be photographed, and for excellent reasons. Next to Hitler and Himmler, he was the most powerful man in Germany.
Correct. Here's a picture of him in a group shot with other officers of the SS Elite Guard. Unfortunately, it only shows the back of his head. Pretty rough, isn't it, Major?
Well, it's not a party. We have only two vague pieces of evidence to work with. A cigarette case, which was identified as a gift to Martin Brunner, picked up in Athens, and a pair of cufflinks found in Karachi, India, last October. That's about it.
Not quite. This star sapphire, Brunner's, was found by a French agent at Herban, North China last week.
North China? Indochina?
Yes.
Well, if we knew who disposed of all these things, then at least a pattern of his movements would take form.
Yes. Somewhere in Asia, for whatever good that does us, is Martin Brunner. Perhaps. If only we knew where and what he looks like. Major, prepare to leave for North China. Good luck.
The twin lines of steel gleamed dully in the darkness as the Natron-Saigon Express roared for a jungle swampland. Inside the train, the compartments were loaded with ex-Nazis who had become soldiers of fortune and had joined the French Foreign Legion. In my compartment were Mark Van Ratten, a handsome and prepossessing man of about 45, Colonel Le Mercier of the French Foreign Legion, and a very quiet and ordinary-looking German who hadn't uttered a word since I came into the compartment.
We are at war here, yes, Van Ratten. The Vietnamese wish to throw us out and to establish an independent nation. So they say, and so they honestly believe possible. But who gave them the idea? Who supplies them with guns and ammunition? Who gives the order to their leader, Trente de Guillaume?
You have been reading your own propaganda, my dear Colonel.
Ah.
The people of Indochina are fighting only because they are tired of French injustice and misrule.
Nonsense, nonsense. If the Vietnamese were not agitated by their false friends, we could soon settle our little differences. Believe me, Van Ratten, I know these natives better than you. You are an art dealer, a businessman, but colonization is also an art.
Yes, an art that teaches the colonized how to get rid of the colonizer.
Jamais, jamais, we are here to stay.
How long can you afford to stay? With over 600 of your legionnaires killed or wounded each month, is it really worth the price, Colonel?
What is a man's life worth? 3 times now the Vietnamese have tried to assassinate me because I am a symbol of the French they hate. No, Van Ratten, there are but 2 marching songs in the world today. The Internationale, which may be theirs, and La Marseillaise, which will always be ours. Now, pardonnez-moi, gentlemen, I leave the compartment. I will return in a moment.
You, sir.
Me?
Yes, I agree with you. There's no one quite as stupid as the professional soldier.
No, I don't remember saying it, but you could be right.
You came aboard the train at Nha Trang, as I recall.
That's right. You must have eyes in the back of your head.
Rather interesting town, don't you think?
No, it stank.
Are you traveling on business or perhaps for pleasure?
I haven't decided.
Surely it can't be your health in this tiresome climate.
I hadn't noticed it until now.
Oh, it's not too bad if you can afford a good modern hotel, Mr. I didn't catch your name.
Well, it's Corbett. Whit Corbett. I've got exactly 180 piastres in my pocket, a birthmark on my left leg, and I'm on my way to Saigon to enlist in the Foreign Legion. Now, is there anything else you'd like to know about me?
I beg your pardon. I was only trying to be social.
If you please, sir.
Now, what's on your mind?
So you are going into the Legion. Then we shall be comrades. How do you say? Comrades. My name is Reicher. Karl Reicher.
How are you?
We had officers like that colonel in the German army also. Perhaps that is why we lost the war.
Who finally did win? I haven't seen a newspaper recently.
This is a very strange thing to me. Why so many thousands of ex-soldiers, all of you bitter in dissolution, should come to Indochina to fight for France.
For me, it was a simple decision. The Legion cannot be worse than the Germany I left. The cold and hunger, the black despair, the terrible fear of Russia. No, I was only a simple private, ein Dummkopf. But I would rather be a soldier again than a dead citizen of a dead country. And you, Mr. Corbett?
Me? Oh, I've got a much better reason than that. I've never been home since the war ended. What's more, I never expect to go back.
How odd. An American not to relish home. Of course, it has become quite a joke among us Saigonese about how many former German soldiers enlist in the Foreign Legion. We call it the Sixth Reich. And the French themselves call it rogues' regiment. I'm afraid they're not very happy about it.
Why should they care who the Vietnamese killed if it isn't a Frenchman?
They don't care particularly. It's the live ones who worry them the most. The Germans who might have had criminal war records, Gestapo agents, and SS elite guards.
Have they found any of those in the Legion?
Quite a few. The SS men were betrayed immediately by the tattoo marks on their left arms.
Oh? What happened to them?
They were sent back to Europe for trial and afterwards hung. These men were very unfortunate and not very smart.
And you are?
Smart enough to get into the Legion if I was an SS man.
How would you accomplish it?
There's a man in Saigon, A. Hazard, a very clever Arab, who can remove any tattoo mark without leaving a trace. Interested?
Oh, no, sir.
At this point, I left the compartment and walked down the corridor of the train. I didn't walk too far when I saw a French officer's cap at my feet. As I bent to pick it up, on eye level was the body of Colonel Le Mercier. He was dead.
You know, Riker, ever since you came onto the train, I've had a definite feeling we have met before.
I don't think so.
I could have sworn it. Somewhere in Europe, years ago, but I cannot recall the time or place.
Monsieur Corbett.
Coming, Chief.
You found the body, did you not, sir?
Yes, sir.
This Malay Chris was beside the body of Colonel Le Mercier?
That's right.
You saw no one who aroused your suspicion?
Oh, sure I did. Dozens of them. Half the mob on that filthy train looked like cutthroats to me.
If you please.
Okay, Chief, sorry. Now, can I go?
What is your address for the next 3 days?
The Foreign Legion for the next 5 years.
Oh? Monsieur Corbett, this is Colonel Mauclair, the commandant of the Legion.
How do you do? Oh, excuse me, Colonel. I thought you were one of the police.
There is no doubt why Le Mercier was murdered. Because he was close on the trail of whoever is smuggling guns into Indochina. But we will never know who did it.
We never do. This open-tool chest, who owns it?
Reicher, the German. Reicher!
Yes, sir?
Why did you bring a tool chest along with you when there's no need for one in the Legion?
I am a mechanic by trade. And with these tools, I have earned my passage from Europe, working wherever I could.
I assure you, gentlemen, this man could not possibly have done the killing because he never left the compartment.
Everyone in Saigon is your friend, my dear fellow. Reicher, Monsieur Van Ratten's word is good enough.
Thank you, Herr Van Ratten.
And you needn't worry about your tool chest. I'll store it for you in my home.
I left the chief of police and the commandant of the Foreign Legion, Colonel Mauclair. But for the whole of the next day, a thought kept revolving in my mind. Van Ratten's voice repeating.
There's a man in Saigon, a very clever Arab, who can remove any tattoo without leaving a trace. There's a man
Without leaving a trace. It suddenly dawned on me. If the Arab had come in contact with members of the SS elite guard, surely he could identify them. That way, I could narrow the list of suspects. So I visited A. Hazarat in his tattoo shop.
Tattoo?
Yes, removed. Can you do it?
For 1,000 piastres is possible.
Any special rate for a small one?
1,000 piastres.
But it's only 2 letters. SS.
SS?
Van Ratten sent me.
Oh, him a good friend.
Yes, so he told me. He also told me how many you've done for him. I bet you can remember every one of them.
Hazarat, no fool. A very discreet man. Never talk.
Even for 50,000 piastres?
50,000?
Here, cash.
Hazarat, remember.
How far back can you remember?
Hazarat, never forget.
A. Hazarat was the one man who could have possibly led me to Martin Brunner. But the bullet through the window stilled the Arab's mouth forever.
Here's news. Big news about big special values. Just listen.
Listen.
Listen closely.
Don't miss this. It's important.
Canon, the world's most popular towels, are waiting for you now, right now, in big, value-packed, money-saving Canon towel sales.
You'll need more towels with summer on the way. Here's a real opportunity to stock up at prices that will save you money.
There are big, beautiful buys in Canon towels of every size and type.
And a wide choice of lovely colors and designs.
Canons give you the most for your money in every way.
In real value.
In lovely color.
And in beautiful design.
Canon towels absorb more, wear longer, stay lovely longer.
Canons are big, fluffy, thirsty towels.
No wonder more people buy Canon towels than all other towels combined. Be sure you get the most for your money. Get Canons. See your newspaper for these special Canon towel sales. Get to your store now and get in on the big, big, big Canon values. Now, here is the second act of the Screen Directors Playhouse presentation of Rogue's Regiment, starring Dick Powell and Peggy Dow, with Alex Nico.
Ich fand einen Kameraden, einen besseren findest du nicht. Die Trommel schlug zum Streite, ging an meiner Seite, im gleichen Schritt und Tritt.
The Café La Petite Cantinoise in Saigon was anything but petite. The dining room was dimly lit and smoke-filled with a bar near the entrance where I stood. I found watching the noisy and belligerent German soldiers spread all over the room, dressed in French uniforms and singing of the fatherland, both an extraordinary and intriguing spectacle. At this point, a sergeant of the Legion, naturally a German, walked by and was stopped by O'Hara, an American.
Hiya, Sarge. Hey, Stein, what's the hurry?
I'm in no hurry, O'Hara.
Well, draw up a Stein. Grab yourself some Sakura.
Danke, Kamerad.
Want you to meet a couple of new kameraden as of tomorrow. This is Riker, countryman of yours.
Riker?
Sergeant Stein.
And this is Whit Corbett, an American from the States.
Glad to know you, Sergeant. Well, let's drink up. That's what we're here for. This one's on me.
Well, yes, but you'll have to pardon me.
What's the matter with you, Stein? You drunk or sick or what?
What do you mean, O'Hara?
You're going to walk out on a free drink?
Get out of my way, you stupid fool.
What? Well, what's eating on that crowd?
Could be a kraut. There was something vaguely familiar about Sergeant Stein. I'd seen his face before, but where? I didn't get too much time to think because a gorgeous doll, the French kind, the singer from the cafe, was coming directly towards me, and she was looking at me with more than casual friendliness. And I liked that kind of look. Drink, mademoiselle?
Later, monsieur.
You ever try singing in English?
You've never been here before?
No. What's your name?
Lily. Lily Maubert. I will see you later, no?
Yes.
Au revoir.
Just a tip, Corbett. Don't make a pass at the singer. It will only get you in a jam.
Thanks, Cobb. Maybe that's the kind of jam I like. I met Lily late that night in her apartment. It was one of those lush, seductive, low-lit affairs. Pictures of German soldiers were all over the walls. But at the moment, I wasn't too interested in pictures. Then Lily entered, carrying 2 drinks, and sat down beside me on the divan.
Do you know why you are here, monsieur?
Well, I could guess, but I'd rather you tell me.
You are here because it is essential that we meet.
Oh, well, home was never like this. Drink up, sweet.
Thank you.
Sit a little closer, won't you?
If you please, stay where you are.
But you just said it was essential that we meet. Come on now, let's not play hide and seek.
Monsieur Corbett, you are an agent of the American intelligence, are you not?
What?
I recognized you the moment I saw you in the cafe.
Oh, hold on, sister. You've got me all wrong.
Oh, no. Colonel Mauclair of the French Foreign Legion described you to me.
Oh. Well, all they told me in Frankfurt was to wait for a pickup by a French agent. But I wasn't expecting anybody like you.
Did you think I would wear a sign?
You don't need a sign.
Mauclair said if there's anything you wanted to know tonight, ask me.
Anything?
Yes.
Are you married?
He meant about tomorrow.
when you enlist.
Oh, well, no. I've been fully briefed on that.
It will not be easy for you in the Legion.
I didn't think it would be. Or trying to find one German among thousands when none of us even knows what the guy looks like. Tell me, who do I clear my reports through, Mauclair or you?
Either one of us. But I am working on something else at the moment.
Oh? What's more important than finding Martin Brunner?
There are things.
Okay. It's none of my business. Skip it.
Thank you, I will.
Did anyone ever tell you you're beautiful?
Everyone, monsieur. Anything else?
Okay. Do you have any instructions that we're not to be seen together from now on?
No, if you have something important to tell me.
I'll find something. We could even talk shop. I'd like to learn how your French work.
I can imagine.
You know, you're much too smart for a beautiful girl. Don't you have any fun at all?
Perhaps. In a quiet way.
I can be very quiet.
Good. Here's your hat. Don't make any noise on your way out.
Sorry. I just hadn't met anybody like you in a long time.
Neither have I.
You win. I'll be going.
Oh, go into the other room.
Sure.
Lily?
Marc Van Raton.
I waited for you at the cafe, but they told me you left early with no message. So I became worried. Is there anything wrong?
No, I didn't feel well all evening, so I came home and went to bed.
In those clothes?
It was sweet of you to come by, but you'll excuse me for not asking you in.
Of course. I shall telephone you in the morning. If you feel better, perhaps we can have lunch together.
Yes, do call me. Good night, Mark, and thank you again.
Good night, my dear.
Ah, nice fellow, isn't he?
Very.
I seem to have messed up your evening. You should have told me.
I wasn't expecting anyone.
Oh, sure. I used to have a friend that dropped in at 3 a.m. Gets to be a habit with some people. You know, I met Van Ratten on the train, and he asked too many questions. What does he do besides being an art dealer?
That's my affair.
Oh, yeah, so I gather. Good night. Thanks for the drink.
Quel fou, il est stupide.
The following day, I was inducted into the French Foreign Legion along with Riker and about 50 more recruits. I was put through my paces by Sergeant Stein, the face I was trying to place. Then I made contact with Colonel Mauclair and wound up spending every spare minute of my days and nights going through the dossier militaire files. Thousands of pictures.
Major Corbett.
Oh, Colonel Mauclair, I've found what I've been looking for. Here, take a look at this photograph.
Uh-huh. Himmler, Hitler, Goering, S. And I do not know this one.
Use this magnifying glass.
Oh, impossible. This German lieutenant of the SS Elite Guard is Sergeant Stein.
His correct name is Heindorf. You will note, sir, look at the picture again. The officer with only the back of his head showing, that is Martin Brunner. And since we do not know what Brunner looks like, and we're sure Heindorf does...
I will put him under arrest at once.
No, that wouldn't help, Colonel. He wouldn't talk even if he knew anything. Let me handle this my way. Hey, the mail's here. Come and get it. Here's one for you, O'Hara. Cobb.
Thanks, Corbett. Who'd write me a letter?
Dahlstrom. Engelbach. Schlitz. Sturm.
Hey, what do you think of this? A bill 2 years old from a butcher in Hackensack, New Jersey. For pig's knuckles.
Sergeant Stein. Letter for Sergeant Stein.
A letter for me?
That's what it says on the envelope. Sergeant Stein, Demi-Brigade, La Citadelle, Saigon. Why don't you open it, Sergeant? Letter from home, Sergeant Stein?
No. Yes. No.
The letter to Sergeant Stein, or Heindorf, was postmarked Saigon and was sent to him by yours truly, Wood Corbett. Inside was the copy of the photograph I had shown Colonel Mauclair. I had circled the face of Heindorf with a thick pencil line and also the back of Brunner's head. In his bunk, Stein sat transfixed, staring at the marked photograph. Then he looked at the envelope and saw the postmark, Saigon, and he realized that whoever sent it was here. He looked up, and our eyes met. And I knew at that moment I was a marked man, that I wasn't long for this world. But I counted on his fear that might lead me to my objective, Martin Brunner.
But why would Heindorf be afraid of Brunner? They were close friends in Germany for years.
Lily, Brunner didn't have any friends. He was a killer. The official executioner of Rym, Dollfuss, Starnberg, Rommel. How many others we'll never know. They were all afraid of him. That's what I'm still counting on.
But you don't even know that Brunner is in Saigon.
No, but if he is here, Heindorf will tell him about the picture. We watched Heindorf, and so far he hasn't left the Citadel or made a telephone call. That's why I think Brunner's in the Legion.
What does Colonel Mauclair think?
Oh, the same thing you do. That I'm fishing for whales with a bent pin. But he'll help me with a bait.
I wish I could help you, too.
You're doing it now, dear. Just letting me look at you. It hit me the first time I saw you in the cafe. And later that night, I knew it for sure. And then Mauclair told me about you, what you did during the war and what you're doing here. So I know you had courage, too.
Mauclair told you of Van Natten?
Yes. That you're luring him into giving himself away as the gun runner who is aiding the Vietnamese in their war against France. I've been worrying about you, Lily. That's always the last stage. Oh, I've got it bad, Lily.
Are you making love to me?
I was trying to. Why? Does it amuse you?
No, it doesn't. I think I like it very much. If you mean it.
I mean it.
Oh.
Does that convince you?
A little. Convince me again.
Oh, that takes time. We haven't got much of it.
We may have. Someday.
I hope so. If Heindorf or Brunner doesn't get me first.
When we ask you to try Anacin for the relief of pain due to a headache, neuritis, or neuralgia, we're not asking you to try a new or unproved method, for there are many people listening in now who have been introduced to Anacin tablets by their own dentist or physician. You who have received Anacin this way know the effective, incredibly fast relief these tablets bring. Anacin is like a doctor's prescription. That is, Anacin contains not just one, but a combination of medically proven active ingredients in easy-to-take tablet form. People by the thousands are using modern Anacin today instead of other ways. Doesn't their experience seem worth following? Try Anacin the next time you suffer pains from headache, neuritis, or neuralgia. You will be delighted with the results. Ask your druggist for Anacin today. Anacin is spelled Anacin. You are listening to the Screen Directors Playhouse, one of the weekly features on NBC's All-Star Festival, brought to you by RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, first in television, by Cannon Towels, America's favorite towels that are special values now during the big Cannon Towel sales now going on at your favorite store, and by the makers of Anacin for the fast relief from the pain of headache, neuritis, and neuralgia. The Screen Directors Playhouse presentation of Rogue's Regiment, starring Dick Powell and Peggy Dow, with Alex Nicole, will continue in just a moment after a brief pause for station identification. This is the Screen Director's Playhouse. We continue with the third act of Rogue's Regiment, starring Dick Powell in his original role of Major Corbett, Peggy Dow as Lily, with Alex Nicol as Van Ratten.
For 1 solid week after Heindorf received the photograph, he was under constant surveillance. There was no doubt he was frightened, but since the camp was loaded with ex-German soldiers, it was impossible to record all of his conversations with the men. Then, on December 6th, Legion intelligence reported that Mark Van Ratten was in negotiation with Trond de Guillaume, the Indochina guerrilla leader, and was going to deliver a shipment of guns to him.
Yes, Corbett. It is very fortunate for us that Lily has secured a map which tells where the guns will be delivered.
Why don't you grab Van Ratten while he still has the guns?
And for the same reason, you do not arrest Steindorf. If he can lead you to Martin Brunner, then Van Ratten can lead us to Trond de Guillaume.
No, he'd be too smart for that. Van Rat would never leave town.
He couldn't. We are watching him. But the guns will leave, and our troops will be there ahead of them. Come in.
Colonel, sir, Sergeant Stein to see you.
In the other room, Corbett.
Very well, sir.
Have Stein come in, Cobb.
Yes, sir. The Colonel will see you, Sergeant Stein.
Thank you, Shane. Colonel, sir?
At ease, Sergeant. What is it you want?
I wish to apply for transfer to another regiment, sir.
Why?
Because, well, frankly, sir, if I stay here, there will be trouble, and very soon.
What do you mean, trouble?
I have an enemy in the 13th Brigade, sir. A man who has twice threatened to kill me.
What is his name?
I cannot tell you that, sir. He's a good enough soldier, and I have nothing against him. It's an old hatred he has for me from the last war.
Are you certain that is all you wish to tell me?
Yes, sir. But if you please, Colonel, this is an urgent request.
Yes, I can see that.
Please.
I cannot promise it, Sergeant, but I will do what I can to arrange a transfer. Carry on.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Corbett. Major Corbett. Did you hear?
That I did. Oh, this is it, sir. We've scared him out. That guy's terrified.
Yes, but of whom? We still don't know that.
No, but we're getting hot, Colonel. Red hot. Martin Brunner is here, in the Legion, in the Citadel. Not 50 yards from us at this moment. Two pertinent items noteworthy of special mention. Dossier military files, the very confidential ones, had been rifled. Someone had been checking to see what information they contained, to discover whether my picture was private. Item number 2, I received a note asking for a meeting that night at the Café La Petite Tonkinoise. It was unsigned. Naturally, I kept the appointment. It wasn't very long before I was joined in the booth by Sergeant Heindorf. Sit down, Sergeant. I was expecting you.
Yes, I wanted to talk to you.
Why didn't you sign the note? What's the matter? Don't you know how to spell Heindorf, Sergeant Stein?
That is why I wanted to talk to you.
Well, before we begin our little chat, I'd like to tell you that I don't plan on being target for tonight.
I don't understand.
But from where I sit, I'm what you call a geranium. I can get potted from 3 sides.
You're making a great mistake. I come here as a gentleman.
Which is the same as saying I come here to bury you. Now, pick up the salt shaker or something, whatever your prearranged signal is, and call off the bloodhound.
I swear no one knows of this meeting.
Okay, I'll let you in on another one. If I'm hurt, the commandant of the Legion gets the picture. And I'm sure you wouldn't want that to happen.
Where did you get that picture?
Well, I'm the best little file clerk in the business. You have such an ugly face, Heindorf, I recognized it immediately. And I also know who the man with his back to the camera is. Martin Brunner. Surprised?
How much will you take for that photograph?
You don't have enough money.
Just tell me how much.
Now, let's put it this way. Your life.
What do you mean?
It isn't worth a plugged nickel as long as Brunner's around. You're a threat to his life. You could identify him, and you're frightened. Plenty frightened.
Oh, I'm not afraid of Brunner. Why should I be? I haven't seen him in years.
That's why you asked for a transfer out of Saigon. Don't hand me that. Go on and get him. I'll wait here for both of you.
Nine.
Heindorf rose and lurched sideways. A bullet plunked into the seat he had vacated. The one with my name on it did likewise, for I had hit the floor and was crawling under a cigarette butt when it came. Bruner had tried for both of us, but he'd tried for Heindorf first, and Heindorf knew it. I decided to let him stew a little. The following morning, acting on Lily's information, the patrol of about 100 of us, including Sergeant Heindorf, left to ambush and capture the guerrilla chief Cran de Guillaume. For hours, I worked over Heindorf. What about Heindorf? Did you go free?
No.
You've nothing to lose but your life. He's amongst us, isn't he?
Leave me alone.
Okay. Have it your own way. Who killed the Arab who removed the SS Elite tattoo marks? Was it Bruner? Did he remove yours? Who sent you, Van Ratten? How much do you have to pay him?
Leave me alone, I said.
You know, the Vietnamese will fight. And in a fight, someone usually gets killed. I'll bet 3 Croix de Guerres against 1 Reichsmedal it'll be you, Heindorf.
Nine. Now leave me alone.
Holy Missouri mule, that guy's ready to bust out crying.
He will before long. Don't worry, Cobb. The ambush we'd planned on came off as scheduled, only we were on the wrong end. Somehow the guerrillas had gotten the guns and were busy showing us they knew how to use them.
Want to make a bet on our chances, Corbett? No reasonable offer refused.
Sure, but who'd collect it? Start working the walkie-talkie, O'Hara.
Yeah. Cameron to the 6th. Cameron trying to cut me to the 6th.
That fella could be a nuisance.
Ammunition! Someone give me ammunition!
You've got more than you can handle now, Sergeant. What are you so nervous about, them or Martin Bruner?
We'll never get out of this. None of it. No! Wipe us out!
Cameron to sea! Corbett!
I'll take over. Cameron! Trying to contact.
Auclair here.
I'll trade places, Colonel.
Where are you?
We're at a point 57 north and 48 east.
Begin. We are on our way.
I looked around for Heindorf. He was zigzagging at top speed for the jungle. He almost made it. But at the edge of the underbrush, someone, probably Bruner, gave it to him in the back. I had at least 50 Germans about me from which to choose a marksman, but not a very good one. For Heindorf was still fighting and kicking as the guerrillas swarmed over him and carried him away.
Where do we follow him, Corbett? Get him back.
I'm all for it.
Perhaps he deserted under fire, Corbett.
So what, Raggett?
Even if we could rescue him, which we cannot, he would be shot.
Why you in such a sweat about the sergeant, Corbett? He was no good anyway.
Yeah, and he was a sergeant. It ain't every day you can lose one of them.
This was one sergeant I didn't want to lose. Hours later, the troop was saved by the 6th Regiment. Bedraggled but not beaten, we returned to Saigon with a group of guerrilla prisoners. I never felt lower in my life. The loss of Heindorf was a severe blow. I was back where I started from, nowhere.
Do you know what you are saying?
Oh, sure, I'm certain of it, Lily. Martin Bruner was one of our patrol. That's why Heindorf ran out. He took the chance of being shot at or captured rather than face it out with Bruner, who he knew would kill him.
And they took him prisoner?
Yes, which means we'll never lay eyes on him again or learn from him who Bruner is. Unless
what?
If I could only get him out somehow. We caught a bunch of Vietnamese in the fight, but McClare tells me they've never agreed to exchange prisoners.
Oh, that's the call. The show will start soon.
Oh, tell me you've missed me, darling.
Oh, listen to my song tonight. I will tell you what I think.
Okay. But in the meantime, I'd like something on account.
Oh, your account is overdrawn, monsieur.
Don't worry, dear. I'll make it good. All right.
Ah, so we meet again, Mr. Corbett.
So we do. I'll be seeing you, Lily. Good night, Mr. Van Ratten.
Lily, has the shrewd fellow upset you?
To the contrary, he is quite charming.
Oh?
Are you a little jealous, Mark?
Yes, intensely. That is why I've come to tell you something, Lily. We've got to leave Indochina as quickly as possible. The French believe they have defeated Trintignant, but they don't know him as I do. I have 2 tickets here to Singapore for tomorrow night. One is for you if you'll come with me.
Well, must I give you an answer now, Mark?
No, but by tomorrow at the latest.
I still say this is a crazy plan, Corbett. You haven't one chance in 100 to get back here alive, even if you reach Eindhoven.
I know that, Colonel, but it's the only thing we've got left to try.
Suppose you are taken prisoner in Trondegan's camp, and there's little doubt you will be if you proceed with this insane idea. How can you hope to escape? No other legionnaires ever have.
Colonel McClare, I fully realize all the risks involved. But if it's only one chance in a million, I've got to take it. I've put in a lot of years searching for Bruner. Now, when I know he's practically within my grasp, I'll do anything to get him.
Even give up your life, Corbett? Well, every man to his own way of being a hero. As for me...
Well, I'm no hero, Colonel McClare. But I've got a job to do, and I've become very stubborn about writing Finney to Martin Bruner's questionable career.
Very well, Corbett. There's nothing left to do now but go to the jail and select the Vietnamese prisoner.
Now, if we turn this prisoner loose, he's bound to head for Trondegan's camp. I'll follow.
I'll wish you good luck now, Corbett. We've agreed on the rendezvous, and I'll send a motorized patrol to pick you up. If you can get away. Wait here. Jailer, open the door.
Yes, sir.
Rouse the prisoners.
Come on, up on your feet, you guys. Up, come on. That's it, get up. Now, quiet down. All right, quiet.
I am Colonel Mauclair, Commandant of the Citadel. I have a message which I want taken back to your leader, Trondegan. You will select one man among you to carry my letter. That man will go free. But I wish the reply to be returned by one of my soldiers now being held prisoner in your camp. You have 1 minute to make your choice.
Commandant, I have been selected.
Very well, you may come out. Here's the letter. Tell Trondegan I shall expect an answer in 3 days. Cobb, escort this man to the rear gate.
Yes, sir.
Through the dark, narrow streets and the alleys of the sleeping city of Saigon, I followed the released guerrilla. Our paths were separated momentarily when I was interrupted by a drunken legionnaire who wanted to know where I was going and why he couldn't join me. It was Riker, the comrade from the train. I managed to brush him off and again picked up the trail. It led to a small Buddhist temple, which I entered. It was dark with only a few candles burning. A life-size idol faced me from the altar. Cautiously, I moved forward and then stopped as the idol came to life and a Malay kriss appeared in his hand. It was the guerrilla I had been following. I got the idea and stood quietly as they tied my hands.
Why did you follow me?
I used to be a Boy Scout, and I was trying to find 2 stones so I could light a fire.
I'm not in a playful mood. Why did you follow me?
But it could be I'm one of your sympathizers. Who knows? I might be a friend of Mark Van Ratten.
That is not true.
Well, that one I'll have to admit. I'd have to be a sucker to be a friend of Van Ratten.
Why did you follow me? Your colonel's letter was a lie, a trap. It said nothing of value to him or me.
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't the letter addressed to Trondegan? Why don't you let him judge?
I am Trondegan.
I have no recollection of the ensuing hours since I was battered into unconsciousness. When I came to, I was behind a barbed wire fence in the guerrilla camp. Immediately, I began searching for Heindorf. I found him in a crude bamboo hut, gravely wounded and feverish, with the look of a man who was dying.
Corbett.
Yes, Heindorf.
Deutschland über.
Including getting shot in the back? That wasn't in your contract. Sure, I wanted you to lead me to Martin Bruner, but he got you first. You knew that when he shot you in the back. Which one of us was he? Why do you protect him, Heindorf? You're dying and he killed you in cold blood. If you don't tell me who he is, he'll never be found. He may be out of reach even now. Tell me, Heindorf. Is it Gerhardt? Hoffmiller? Is it Riker?
Riker?
It is Riker, isn't it? He is Martin Bruner.
Yes. Yes.
I buried Heindorf that afternoon, guarded by a lone Vietnamese guerrilla armed with a rifle. As I tamped the mound with my shovel, the guard mumbled for me to hurry. I hurried, all right. I flung a shovel full of dirt in his face and made a run for the nearby lagoon. I hit the water in a flat racing dive. And by the time he got the sand out of his eyes, I had crossed the lagoon and was safe in the jungle. I headed for Saigon and Martin Brunner. Meanwhile, Lily was with Colonel Mauclair.
You said Van Ratten wanted you to leave with him on the plane tonight?
Yes.
Then go with him.
You will let him go?
Yes. But only as far as the airport. We have found everything we have to know about Van Ratten, who sent him the guns, and how they were sent. He was paid a fortune for the job, and he would take it with him on the plane. We want to find the money on him. Call him. Tell him you will go.
Very well.
Yes?
Mark, I am leaving with you.
Oh, this makes me very happy, my dear. I cannot tell you what it means to me.
When shall I meet you and where?
Our plane leaves at midnight, but I have some last-minute business. Be here at my house at 11. Could you take a taxi?
Yes, of course.
Oh, goodbye, my dear. I love you very much.
When I reached Saigon, I checked in with Colonel Mauclair and divulged Tran de Guion's identity. In turn, he told me about Lily's impending meeting at 11 o'clock with Van Ratten. Naturally, he was elated at discovering that Riker was Martin Brunner. I searched the barracks for the Nazi butcher, but he was nowhere around. So I checked into the cafe, La Petite Tonkinoise.
Well, dust my britches if it ain't Corbett. Where you been?
Snake hunting, Cobb.
You look like the snake got you.
Say, have you seen anything of Riker here tonight?
Riker? What do you want with him?
He's my pal. Have you seen him?
Yeah, about a half hour ago. He was having a drink with some guy.
Who?
The guy that's always making eyes at Lily, the rat or something.
Huh? What time is it?
Almost 11.
I'll see you later.
Hey, where you going?
To bite a snake. I arrived at Van Ratten's place, and as I walked up the stairs, I could hear voices from the open window.
Oh, you can speak freely in front of Lily. She's of the French intelligence.
Mark!
Are you insane, Van Ratten?
Oh, you needn't worry about Lily. You needn't worry that she'll ever repeat our conversation. Be seated here, Riker.
Thank you.
Now, shall we settle our business? I have the $5,000 for you, but there's a small problem with your passport. We had no photograph of you, and that is one thing impossible to forge.
I remember that. I took one from the Legion files.
Excellent. These American bills were quite expensive. Together with this passport, you owe me $20,000. You have it with you, of course.
No, I didn't have to bring it. It was already here. Where is the tool chest you've been storing for me?
There, by the divan.
The tools in that chest are all made of platinum. Why and where they come from needn't concern you. But altogether, they are worth $250,000.
Or perhaps more.
If you doubt it, test them.
It isn't necessary. You see, I have already tested them.
You have done what?
I borrowed a chisel from the chest to open something, and it broke in half. So naturally, I became curious.
They were not meant to be used. But since you know their value, you can take what I owe you.
And what would you consider a fair price?
You
for...
said $20,000.
You didn't let me finish, Brunner.
Brunner?
This is a day for surprises, my dear.
Then add this to your collection.
I fear I was careless. My pistol
is in that drawer. Close it.
Now, where were we?
You were about to ask for a fair price. I give you the answer. And now, Fräulein, it is your turn.
There was nothing for me to do at that moment but break in. Then the realization came to me that I was unarmed. But there's an old saying, fools rush in where angels fear to tread.
Corbett, welcome. Up with your hands.
Sure, Martin Brunner.
Brunner?
Yes, the butcher of Dakar.
Shall I add you two to my list, comrade? Yes, I shall. Turn around, Corbett.
Oh, please.
Do as I say. Have you ever enjoyed the spectacle of watching a man die, Fräulein?
Don't answer him, Lily. Come on, get it over with, Brunner.
There's no hurry. The Nazis have plenty of time. We have patience. There will be another Führer. Today we are defeated, but tomorrow the world. Tell me, Herr Corbett, have you confided my identity to anyone?
You think I'd be sucker enough to keep such good news to myself? You're as good as hung right now. How do you figure to get out of Saigon? Everyone knows your face.
I already have considered a plan. You will save my life.
I will?
Yes. That is why you are still alive. You will escort me to the plane which will carry me to safety.
And supposing I refuse?
You won't. I promise you your freedom.
You mean you expect me to believe you?
You have no other alternative. Oh, yes. Herr von Ratten had 2 plane tickets. I shall take Lily with me as a hostage to be sure that my trip is not interrupted. You understand?
On the nose.
Now, we leave.
Aren't you forgetting something?
I do not think so.
After all the work and trouble you went to, aren't you going to take these tools?
The tools, yes. Yes, of course. This is another sample of Nazi superiority. I carried this fortune under the very noses of the stupid French and American agents.
Oh, so you did. And the least I can do is to help you get started on your journey. Here, cash. Let's use a little of this on that wrist. That's better. Now we're both unarmed. My instructions are to bring you back alive, and that's what I'm going to do. Just barely. In the gray dawn at Nuremberg, the last chapter for the Nazi war criminals was a job for the hangman. And the last steps of Martin Brunner on that scaffold are a warning to the world that such men must not march again. There is no other road to justice, mankind's dream for a lasting peace. End of report.
Our thanks to Dick Powell, Peggy Dow, and Alex Nicole for an excellent performance. Our stars will return in just a moment with screen director Robert Florey. Next week, our story will be one which has been enjoyed in novel and picture by millions of Americans. Back Street, with Charles Boyer, starring in his original role. In future weeks, it will be the pleasure of Screen Directors Playhouse to bring you other outstanding adaptations, such as Beyond Glory, starring Alan Ladd, The Gunfighter, starring Gregory Peck, and DOA, starring Edmund O'Brien. Now, here again are tonight's stars, Dick Powell and Peggy Dow.
Ladies and gentlemen, the making of a movie involves hundreds of technicians and artists in numerous capacities. And the boss man, the guiding genius of all these talents, is the director of the piece. Under his sure hand, the motion picture is gradually brought to life. I'm very proud to present the director of Rogue's Regiment, my good friend Robert Florey.
Thank you, Dick. It was a fine experience directing Rogue's Regiment, and I really enjoy listening to you this evening. And Peggy Dow, it was a pleasure to hear you, too. I saw you in Harvey, and you were wonderful.
Thank you very much, Mr. Flora. You're very kind.
Oh, Dick, I've been listening to your own radio show, Richard Diamond. It's excellent. I hope that with all your activities, you will have time to come back to our Screen Directors Playhouse again, and soon. We always present the best, and you are. This goes for you, too, Peggy.
Please do invite me back again soon. Good night.
Ditto for me, Bob. Good night, all.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Rogue's Regiment was presented through the courtesy of Universal International Pictures, now releasing Hollywood Story, co-starring Richard Conte and Julia Adams. Dick Powell can currently be seen in the RKO production, Cry Danger. Peggy Dow appeared through the courtesy of Universal International Pictures, who will soon release The Prince Who Was a Thief, a Technicolor production co-starring Tony Curtis and Piper Laurie. Alex Nicol appeared through the courtesy of Universal International Pictures, who will soon release Smuggler's Island, a Technicolor production co-starring Jeff Chandler and Evelyn Keyes. Included in tonight's cast were Ned Lefevre as the General, Stan Waxman as Colonel Mauclair, Paul Dubov as Cobb, Ry Billsbury as Carl Riker, Don Diamond as Tron de Guian, Ken Harvey as O'Hara, and Henry Rowland as Heindorf. Rogue's Regiment was adapted for radio by Jack Rubin. Screen Directors Playhouse is produced by Howard Wiley and directed by Bill Karn. Portions of tonight's broadcast were transcribed. This is Jimmy Wallington speaking, and inviting you to listen next week when Screen Directors Playhouse presents Back Street, starring Charles Boyer with screen director Robert Stevenson.
Oh, waiter.
Yes, sir?
I'll have a vegetable salad with cottage cheese, some toasted crackers, and a bottle of cold Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yes, sir. Finest beer served anywhere.
From Hollywood, Pabst Blue Ribbon, finest beer served anywhere, proudly presents...
Screen Directors Playhouse, production Fort Apache, director John Ford, stars John Wayne, Ward Bond.
The Hollywood Screen Directors present A Footnote to Valor, Fort Apache, starring John Wayne and Ward Bond, and introduced by the director of the film, John Ford. Ever since the infant days of motion pictures, a kind of violent chain reaction has been exploding in Hollywood. The source of this rather awesome force is our guest screen director tonight. His explosions have taken the form of such brilliantly directed films as The Informer, Stagecoach, How Green Was My Valley, and tonight's story, Fort Apache. Ladies and gentlemen, the director, Mr. John Ford.
Thank you. I don't know as I'd call Fort Apache an explosion. If I were translating it into sound, I'd say it was a bugle call, brave and distant and a little sad. An echo of the cavalry regiments that galloped to meet adventure on our western plains. Now here's our film story for the first time on the air, starring John Wayne in his original role of Captain York and Ward Bond as Colonel Thursday, Fort Apache.
This is the story of Fort Apache, of the regiment, the officers and men who manned her, how they lived, how some of them died. Fort Apache was the last frontier, a tiny cavalry outpost in the heart of Indian-infested country. My name is Captain Kirby York. I'd been through enough Indian campaigning to have a healthy respect for the Apache, both as a fighter and as a man. Colonel Owen Thursday, the new commanding officer, was a career man out of headquarters in Washington with a lot of strange ideas about frontier discipline, military science, and the lowly savage Indian.
Gentlemen, I have been ordered to assume command of Fort Apache and to aid the Indian agent Meacham in putting down the uprising caused by the Apache chief Cochise. While some of our regiments are leading well-publicized campaigns against the great Indian nations, we are asked merely to ward off a few cowardly Digger Indians.
The Apaches, sir, are hardly Digger Indians.
You would scarcely compare them with the Sioux, Captain York.
No, Colonel, I wouldn't. The Sioux raided into Apache territory once. You could follow the Sioux retreat by the bones of their dead.
We'll discuss that some other time, Captain. The immediate point is that Cochise and his Apaches have left the reservation. Our orders are to get them back.
Sir, no troop or squadron or regiment can keep an Apache on a reservation unless he wants to stay there. 5 years ago, we made a treaty with Cochise, and his Apaches stayed on the reservation in peace.
For how long, Captain?
Until the Indian agent, Meacham, was sent out by the Indian ring. He cheated them, degraded them, until they couldn't take it anymore.
Cochise broke his treaty.
Yes, rather than stay here and see his nation wiped out.
The political aspects of the situation do not concern me, Captain York. We have a military job to do, which I am sure we will accomplish with glory.
This is hardly a country for glory, Colonel, but I wish you luck, sir.
Any questions?
No questions, sir. For some reason, the few Apaches who had remained on the reservation were extremely quiet. This was unusual. It worried me. But evidently it didn't worry Colonel Thursday, for about a week later I was detailed to escort his daughter out riding for an inspection of the mesa.
Come on, Captain.
Stop, Miss Thursday.
Well, I beat you.
You shouldn't have raced ahead that way, Miss Thursday.
Why not?
This is Indian country, and I'm responsible for you.
Oh, I'm not afraid. Oh, look, Captain. Down there.
Smoke.
Is it an Indian signal?
No, not a signal. That's where our telegraph wires run through to Fort Grant.
Oh.
I've got to ride down this slope and find out. Can you get back alone?
Alone? No, I'm going with you.
Hit it. Easy now. Let him have his head.
It's a wagon burning.
Yeah, it's the one we sent out on the patrol, the telegraph line. Don't look. Stay here.
But the men.
They're dead. Apaches.
Oh.
Come on, let's get out of here. We've got to get back to the fort. Colonel Thursday, sir.
Now what, Captain York?
Repair wagon. Burned.
And the troopers?
Spread eagled on the wheels. Roasted.
Oh, no. Where'd it happen?
Near Blue Mesa, sir. They cut the telegraph wires.
Captain Collingwood, hand me that map.
Yes, sir.
Now, show me the place, York.
Here, sir. On this low spot between the hills.
Captain York, send out a wagon of detail to repair the wires and bring back the bodies.
Yes, sir. Sergeant Mulcahy.
Yes, sir.
Assemble a platoon from Company A.
A platoon? I said a detail, Captain. An officer and 4 men.
But those Apaches may still be around, Colonel.
I am running a command, not a debating society. Captain York, you will personally take the detail and leave at once.
Very good, sir.
If I know Apaches, Colonel, you're sending those men to a certain death.
I know what I am doing, Collingwood. And now you assemble a platoon immediately.
You mean the platoon is going to trail a wagon?
Correct, at a striking distance. Surely, Collingwood, even you have heard of the trap as a military weapon.
Yes, sir.
I don't like this, Captain. Send us out like this alone.
Neither do I.
What do you think, sir? You think the devils will be waiting for us?
Can't tell. Apaches are tricky. Take it easy now. The wire breaks just around this bend.
Right. Oh, up there. Mother of mercy. 2 of our own lads. Burned alive. Why, you devils, you motherless...
Quiet, Mulcahy. They've been back. They've stripped off the men's shoes.
The barbarians. I'll make 'em pay with my own hands.
All right, men, quick. Get out those blankets and that wire and work fast. I know Apaches. They'll be back.
Pete.
Yeah, we're going.
Beaufort.
You?
Get up on that pole and fix that wire break.
All right, we're going.
I'll take care of our men myself.
I'm going up that rock and have a look. They're around here. I can feel it.
Any sign of them?
Nothing yet, but hurry it up. They know we're here.
Down
down! Get down! Get down off that pole, man! Come on, let's get out of here.
But the wire break, it's not fixed yet.
That's right. You haven't got a chance.
All right, men, let's go.
Come on.
Let's go. There must be 100 of them.
Diablo's band.
We're like clay pigeons out here in the open.
Master, we gotta outrun them. It's our only chance.
And the devil.
Return fire.
They'll never take us alive. What kind of trap did the blasted colonel send us into anyhow?
Listen. Look at the dust. It's a column.
It's the troops.
It's the regiment.
Glory be.
Colonel Thirsty and the regiment.
You are listening to the Screen Directors Playhouse production of Fort Apache, starring John Wayne and Ward Bond, and introduced by the director of the film, Mr. John Ford. You are in Atlantic City. The boardwalk is crowded with strollers. You, foot-weary and breathless from a marathon walk, pause to wipe the perspiration from your forehead. The salt air is cooling, but somehow it doesn't satisfy your thirst. There must be a place nearby where you can... Wait a second. What's that little blue sign in the cafe window? Oh, brother. Pabst Blue Ribbon. Finest beer served anywhere. Yes, during these hot August days, you're just one of millions of men all over America to whom that Pabst Blue Ribbon sign means welcome relief. For Pabst Blue Ribbon does something more than quench your thirst. It gives you taste. Blue Ribbon taste. The kind of taste you can't get anywhere else in the world except in that Pabst Blue Ribbon bottle. And, fortunately, you can get that Blue Ribbon bottle all over the world. Yes, you hear it everywhere. In Atlantic City and Appleton and Ann Arbor and Atlanta. Pabst Blue Ribbon. Finest beer served. Anywhere. Your taste will tell you why. Now, back to our Screen Directors Playhouse production of Fort Apache, starring John Wayne and Ward Bond.
What was left of Diablo's raiding party after the battle, we took back to the reservation at Claw Springs. But that didn't solve the problem. They were just a handful. There were still Cochise in the entire Apache nation across the Rio Bravo in Mexico. But right here at Claw Springs was the root of the trouble. The unscrupulous Indian agent, Meacham.
Mr. York, how good to see you.
Captain York Meacham.
Oh, yes, of course, you soldier boys and your title.
And this is Colonel Thursday.
Ah, another exile in the wilderness.
Mr. Meacham, a band of Indians left this reservation.
Yes, the ungrateful dogs. I treat them well.
Meacham, you drove Cochise and the Apaches off this reservation by starving and degrading them.
Why,
Giving them whiskey instead of beef. Trinkets instead of blankets.
But
Cochise did the only thing a decent man could do. He left and took his people with him across the Rio Bravo into Mexico.
Why, he broke his treaty, and I demand you soldier boys bring him back by force if necessary.
Any demands you wish to make, Mr. Meacham, will be made through official channels.
Well, I only...
Captain York, what's in those boxes?
They're marked books, sir. More likely cheap whiskey.
No, he's lying.
Well, open them and see, Captain.
Mulcahy.
Right, sir.
You heard the Colonel.
Here, what are you doing? You have no right to...
Oh, it's a miracle, sir. The books have turned into whiskey in a barrel.
I have a government license to keep a medicinal supply of...
What shall we do with the books, Colonel?
Destroy them. Mulcahy.
Yes, sir.
And what about these Winchester rifles, sir?
Destroy them, too.
No, you can't. This is private property. You have no right
Meacham, you're a blackguard, a liar, a hypocrite, and the stench in the nostrils of an honest man. If it were in my power, I'd hang you from the nearest tree and leave your carcass for the buzzards. But as a representative of the United States government, you are entitled to the protection of my command. But that is all. Good day, sir.
You sent for me, Colonel?
Sit down, Captain York.
Yes, sir.
Now, about this Cochise. We've got to bring him back. In 6 campaigns, he's outgeneraled us, outfought us, and outrun us.
That's just the point. There aren't enough troops in the territory to make him come back. But one man, a man he trusts, might persuade him. Cochise knows me.
You're a fool, Captain. Assuming you found Cochise, his men would cut you to pieces.
Well, that's possible, sir, but I've never lied to Cochise, and if you'll assure him decent treatment for his people,
A carbine against his spine might be more persuasive.
Oh, I'd have to go unarmed, sir.
Have you forgotten what happened to the men on the repair wagon?
Well, I can't fight my way to Cochise. Other men have tried that.
If we could manage to get him back to United States soil. Well, you have my permission, Captain. How many men will you need?
1, sir. Sergeant Beaufort. He knows the country. He was born in Mexico. I'd like to leave at once, sir.
Proceed, Captain, and take your sergeant. I hope you make it.
Three days, Sergeant Beaufort, and we haven't seen a sign of an Apache.
See, but they have seen us.
You can be sure of that.
Captain, look. Look over against that hill.
A signal mirror. Another one answering from this side. Yeah, they're here, all right, and we're between them. Come on, Beaufort, smile.
It's too late to do anything else.
They must be camped right above us.
That is not always right above it. Look up. Look up on the rocks.
Holy smokes. Covered with Apaches.
On both sides of the pass, thousands of them.
Looks like they were expecting us. Keep smiling, Beaufort. We're going in.
Captain, look at those rifles they're carrying.
Winchester 7-shot repeaters. Our friend Meacham.
Looks like every chief in the tribe is here.
Eyes straight ahead, Beaufort.
Is that him?
That's Cochise in front. This is close enough.
Good luck, sir.
Buenas tardes, Cochise. We come in peace.
Buenas tardes, friend.
Captain York, you got back. Well?
Cochise has crossed the river, Colonel. He's coming in with all these people. He wants to talk peace.
He's back on American soil?
Yes, sir.
Good. Captain, the regiment moves out at dawn.
The regiment? But I promised Cochise we'd meet him alone, unarmed. You and me and Meacham.
Why Meacham?
He insists Meacham be present.
Oh, very well. You will prepare your troops to march at dawn.
But Cochise will think I've tricked him.
Exactly. We have tricked him. We've tricked him into returning to American soil, and I intend to see that he stays here.
Colonel, I gave Cochise my word.
Your word to a breech-clouted savage? To an illiterate, uncivilized murderer and treaty breaker? There is no question of honor, sir, between an American officer and Cochise.
There is to me, Colonel. You can't send out the regiment.
Captain York, so long as you are in my command, you will obey my orders. The regiment will march at dawn. Is this approximately where you were to meet Cochise, Captain York?
Just about.
Halt the troops.
Ho! Ho!
Ho! Captain, I propose to deploy our men, sending 2 troops to the north and 1 to the east.
The Apaches, sir, are neither north nor east, and they're not in their encampment. If you'd been watching the dust swirls to the south, as most of us were, you'd know they're over there, just coming over the ridge. That's Cochise now, sir. They're about 4 to our 1, most of them with Winchester rifles. Do we talk, Colonel, or fight?
You seem easily impressed by numbers, Captain. However, I'll honor your word to Cochise. Where's Mr. Meacham? Meacham!
Here, sir, at your
Mr.
side,
Meacham,
Colonel.
we are riding out to talk with Cochise.
Oh, he's not the kind you can talk to, Colonel. I warn
You will
that
accompany us, Mr. Meacham. Come on, Captain. Up!
Up!
Take over, York.
I have the honor, illustrious chief, of presenting the commander of our regiment, Colonel Thursday. We have come to talk.
The Apache is a great nation. Proud, never conquered. But it's not good for nation always to fight. Young men die, old ones hungry. So I bring my people to a reservation. Then this man come make trouble.
He means you, Meacham.
He lies.
Evil man who make my people bad. He is worse than war. He starved my children.
No.
He killed my people.
No, it's not true.
Send him away and we will talk peace. If not, there will be more war.
Are you threatening us?
Colonel, don't interrupt. It's an insult.
And for each of us you kill, 10 white men will die.
Silence! I did not come here to be threatened. Cochise, I find you without honor. That government which I represent orders you to return to the reservation by dawn, or we will attack.
It's getting light, Colonel. What do you think?
I think they've had their chance. Now it's time they had their lesson. Hand me your binoculars, Captain.
Yes, sir.
I don't see them. Not a one down in the pass.
They're there, sir, but not down in the pass, up on the rim rock.
How can you know that?
Because if I were Cochise, that's where I'd take up my position.
What about that dust cloud at the far end of the pass?
It's an Apache trick, sir. Women and children dragging mesquite to make us ride through that narrow pass into an ambush.
Very ingenious, Captain. You make me suspect that your Cochise studied under Alexander the Great, at least. Gentlemen, mount your troops. We charge through the pass in a column of fours.
Mounted in fours? Colonel, that'd be suicide. I tell you, they're up in those rocks on either side of the pass. It's an ambush.
Captain York, there is no room in this regiment for a coward. You will remain on the ridge in safety with the supply wagons.
Yes, sir. A charge in fours? Thursday was insane. I took Sergeant Mulcahy with me and wheeled the wagons back up onto the ridge.
Roll them!
The regiment started forward at the half gallop. The faces of the men set and grim.
There they go, Captain. The finest lads I ever soldiered with.
First the A Company, down into the pass. They didn't have a chance, but they kept charging through. B Company, C Company, horses, men, racing, shooting, tumbling crazily as they fell screaming.
Captain, look! Colonel Thursday's been hit!
Keep me covered, Mulcahy! Colonel Thursday!
York, hop me on your horse.
Here, follow me, Colonel. I'm dug in on the ridge top.
No, Captain. Your saber. I must rejoin my command.
There is no command. It's wiped out. We're all that's left of it, don't you understand? Us and the wagons on the ridge.
Then back to your ridge, Captain. We'll charge in fours.
Come back, Colonel. Come back. Come back.
Hurry, Captain, over here!
Thanks, Mulcahy.
Down quick! You'll draw their fire!
What difference does it make? Wiped out. Wiped out. Every man.
The devils. The murdering devils.
It's all over.
No. Here they come.
The whole Apache nation.
We've got a rifle apiece and 40 rounds, Captain.
No, wait.
Make 'em count. Every one for the men that's gone.
No, Sergeant. Hold your fire.
Cochise is raiding out to us.
Here. Take my gun.
But, Captain...
I gave Cochise my word. I'll meet him unarmed.
White Colonel say Cochise without honor. White Colonel dead. I give you your flag.
For a moment, Cochise stared at me. Then he wheeled his horse, and like a great wind, the Apaches rode away. Yes, he gave us back our flag, the regimental guidon we'd carried into battle. But now the regiment of Fort Apache has been reformed. Names are all changed. Those others haven't been forgotten because they haven't died. They're living right out there. Tomorrow when we take to the field, they'll be riding with us. Collingwood, O'Rourke, Mulcahy, Beaufort, yes, and Thursday. Their names may change and their faces, but they're the regiment and the regular army, now and 50 years from now.
You have just heard the last act of Fort Apache. In a moment, our stars, John Wayne and Ward Bond, and screen director John Ford will return to the microphone. Out here in Hollywood, they sell maps to sightseers that show where the movie stars live. Now, if you could only step inside those homes instead of just driving by, you would find that most of the picture people lead normal, everyday lives, just like you and me. On these hot summer weekends, for instance, the chances are you'd find them out in the backyard under a shady tree with their neighbors and friends, playing gin rummy, or just chatting over bottles of cold Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. Everything in perfect taste. Blue Ribbon taste. And it's that Blue Ribbon taste that makes this internationally famous beer so popular here in Hollywood. We happen to have a movie star here in the studio who I think will verify that statement. The star of our radio program, Mr. John Wayne. John, is it true that Pabst Blue Ribbon is a big favorite in Hollywood?
Well, offhand, I'd say it's quite popular.
What do you mean, offhand?
I mean, I have no way of knowing except that I see Pabst Blue Ribbon served in a lot of Hollywood homes.
Well, do you serve it in your own home?
I sure do. It's a good beer. Now, how about a word from the director of Fort Apache, if Ward Bond will bring Pappy over here?
What do you mean, bring Pappy over here? That's the trouble with you actors. Just because I'm a director, you think I'm afraid of a microphone.
Well, Pappy?
Well, I am, and that's why I'm going to say good night and get out of here.
There speaks one of the world's greatest directors.
Come on, Pappy.
Good night, folks.
Good night.
Good night.
And good night to you, John Wayne, Ward Bond, and John Ford. Don't forget, tomorrow is the beginning of another weekend. 2 whole days to relax and have fun. You'll be planning picnics and backyard barbecues. Just be sure there's plenty of Pabst Blue Ribbon cooling in your icebox. Tomorrow morning, ask your dealer for a case. In cans or bottles, Pabst Blue Ribbon is the finest beer served anywhere. Your taste will tell you why. Next week on Screen Directors Playhouse, Pabst Blue Ribbon presents Jezebel, starring Betty Davis. Fort Apache was presented through the courtesy of Argosy Pictures, producers of Mighty Joe Young. John Wayne will be seen shortly as the star of the John Ford Argosy production, She Wore a Yellow Ribbon. Ward Bond will soon be seen in Paramount's new Bing Crosby picture, Riding High. John Ford is currently directing the 20th Century Fox production, Front and Center, starring Dan Daly and Colleen Townsend. Included in tonight's cast were Sharon Douglas, Paul McVeigh, Tony Barrett, Eddie Fields, Pat McGeehan, Lou Merrill, and Don Stanley. Fort Apache was adapted for radio by Warren Lewis, and original music was composed and conducted by Henry Russell. Screen Directors Playhouse was produced by Howard Wiley, with dramatic direction by Bill Karn. Portions of tonight's broadcast were transcribed. Listen again next week when Pabst Blue Ribbon presents
Screen Directors Playhouse, production Jezebel, director William Wyler, star Betty Davis.
Screen Directors Playhouse is brought to you by the Pabst Brewing Company of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Newark, New Jersey, and Peoria, Illinois, and sent your way with the best wishes of the Pabst Blue Ribbon dealers from coast to coast. James Wallington speaking.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
The NBC Theater presents...
Screen Directors Guild assignment, production Stagecoach. Director John Ford. Stars John Wayne, Claire Trevor, Ward Bond.
This is the Screen Directors Guild production of the United Artists motion picture classic Stagecoach, starring John Wayne, Claire Trevor, and Ward Bond, and introducing the director of the film, John Ford. Before we begin our story, here are a few words about the entertainment you will hear tonight and in future weeks at this time. The NBC Theater is proud to welcome the president of the Screen Directors Guild and the eminent director of such films as Variety Girl, The Perils of Pauline, and Taproots, Mr. George Marshall.
Thank you, and good evening. This is the first performance of a series of Screen Directors Guild productions, in which the directors will personally bring you their favorite film assignments, along with the stars who created the original roles. Tonight, your director is John Ford. John, if you remember, is the winner of 5 Academy Awards, the guiding hand behind such great pictures as The Informer, How Green Was My Valley, and, of course, Stagecoach. You're on the set, John.
Thank you, George. And good luck on our first production. Stagecoach is ready to roll. The last time I made that crack was about 10 years ago. When I first had the opportunity of putting on film this Romance of the West. For the cast, the picture offers an array of colorful character types, ripe for the actor's talents. Now the story and the cast are united again. Here is Stagecoach with John Wayne as the Ringo Kid, Claire Trevor as Dallas, and Ward Bond as Doc Boone. In 1885, the stagecoach was the only means of travel on the American frontier. And in those days, no name struck more dread into the hearts of travelers than Geronimo, leader of the warlike Apaches. This, folks, is a story of a party of people who traveled from Tonto to Lordsburg by stagecoach in 1885. It's a story still told by the Indians.
In the land of Arizona, land of the Apache Indian, where the roaming Chiricahua fought the mighty white invader, stood the white man's city, Tonto. Tonto, where the flying wagon that the white man called the stagecoach stopped to take men to the westward, where Geronimo was leader, chief of the Apache Indians.
Well, that's how it is, folks. Geronimo's Apaches are on the warpath up ahead, burning every ranch in sight.
Then the question before the party assembled in this stagecoach is, shall we continue?
I say yes. Continue.
But, Mrs. Mallory, should you be traveling in your condition?
My husband is in Apache Wells with his troops. I want to be with him when our baby arrives.
Madam, I am a gambler, and I admire and respect a bold gamble. But aren't you gambling with a life besides your own?
Oh, I forgot to tell you, Mr. Hatfield. We're getting a cavalry escort for Apache Wells.
That settles it. I'm going on.
Count me in, of course, Buck.
All right. I'll go find my shotgun guard.
You don't have to go no further, Buck.
But, Curly, well, doggone. How are you, Sheriff?
Fine, thanks, and I'll be riding shotgun up next to you this trip, Buck.
You? What for?
The Ringo kid escaped from prison. I'm looking for him.
The fellow who shot Jed Michael dead?
I hear he's heading for Lordsburg to shoot it out with the 3 Plummer boys, so I'll be right up there next to you, Buck, all the way to Lordsburg.
There she comes. Top of the hill now. There comes the stagecoach. Better stand back a bit, Doc.
Yeah, stand out of the road there, Dallas girl.
Thanks, Doc.
Hail the stage-brush chariot.
Doc, why do I have to leave town? Because all these women here say I have to? I don't want to go to Lordsburg.
No more do I, Dallas. But you are a lady somewhat too hospitable to gentlemen. And I am a doctor somewhat too hospitable to spirits. We, girl, are the dregs of Tonto. They send us from their midst. Come, Dallas, be a glorified dreg like me. Hi, Buck. You have acquired 2 more eager passengers.
The engines are rising, Doc.
I thank them for that mark of respect. Tell them they may be seated now. Enter, Dallas.
Thanks, Tom.
Take your place beside the other lady. Then forward. On to Lordsburg.
What you driving through this canyon, Buck?
Well, I aim to be hard to shoot at in case Geronimo's Apaches are in these hills.
I'm with you, Buck. The law.
But that don't make me bulletproof. Oh, Kingdom High. Here she comes, Apache.
Keep your shirt on and stop the coach. It ain't Apaches. There's someone up ahead blocking the road with a rifle.
Whoa.
Here he comes, whoever he is.
What? It's the Ringo Kid.
That's right, Buck. Hiya, Curly.
Ringo.
Didn't expect to find the sheriff riding shotgun.
I was heading for Lordsburg, same as you, Ringo.
Well, my horse went lame, so you got another passenger.
I'll take that rifle first, Ringo.
That's so, Sheriff.
You're under arrest for the murder of Jed Michael.
Sorry, Curly, but this Winchester here says different.
Sorry, Ringo. But if you'll look back up the road a piece, you'll see our escort of United States Cavalry coming up.
Oh.
I'll take that rifle now, Ringo.
Sure, Sheriff. But you better hold on to it. You may need it before we get to Lordsburg.
Thanks. You can get into the coach now.
Much obliged, Sheriff.
Get going, Buck.
Yep. Sooty. Yep. Galley.
So you're the famous Ringo Kid, huh?
My friends call me Ringo. Right name's Henry.
Henry? Why, I remember you. Say, I fixed your arm when you was just a little sprout. You was no higher than a quart of bourbon.
Now, that was my kid brother broke his arm. You did a good job, too, Doc, even if you was drunk.
Well, thank you, son. How's your brother now?
He was murdered.
Oh, no.
Him and my dad. By the 3 plumber boys.
Well, good luck when you get to Lordsburg, son.
Thanks, Doc.
Mrs. Mallory, you're tired. Would you like to rest your head on my shoulder?
No, thank you. Mr. Hatfield, would you mind if I sat over on your side of the coach?
Not at all, ma'am.
Excuse me.
Yes, of course.
Right here, Mrs. Mallory.
Thank you, Mr. Hatfield.
I must have the plague, huh, Dallas?
You? Oh, no, it's not you.
Have a drink, Hatfield?
No, thank you.
No, thank you, he says. Have a drink, Doc? Yes, thank you.
You're not going to move away from me, are you?
No, Ringo.
Well, I guess I can't expect to break out of prison and into society in the same week.
Shh, she'll hear you.
I guess I'm pretty dumb for sitting down beside a lady like you, Dallas.
A lady?
Thanks for not moving.
Oh, don't, please. Why are you looking at me like that?
Ain't I seen you someplace before?
No, you haven't.
I wish I had, though.
I know you. I know who you are.
I used to be a good cowhand. A few years back. Things happened.
Yes, things happen.
Bottle in a bottle. Drink up, Doc.
Doc's getting his snoot full.
Things happen. And now they'll take you back to prison.
Not till I finish a job in Lordsburg.
Ringo, I wish you wouldn't.
Wish I wouldn't what?
Oh, nothing. Nothing.
Bottle in a bottle.
Confound that driver. Why doesn't he drive more carefully?
He's playing it smart, Hatfield. He took to the mountains. Apaches don't like snow.
Well, he might have some consideration for Mrs. Mallory and her condition.
Oh, I'll be all right, Mr. Hatfield. Thank you.
Bottle in a bottle.
Apache Wells just ahead. Apache Wells.
Bottle in a bottle.
Mr. Hatfield, why didn't my husband and his troops meet us here?
The Wrangler tells me that Captain Mallory has been sent ahead to Lordsburg.
Lordsburg?
Well, we'd better turn around and follow the cavalry escort to Tonto.
But we can't do that.
With Apaches on the warpath, it ain't safe to go through Apache country without escort. I say we ought to turn back.
There's only one way to find out. Take a vote.
What do you say, Mrs. Mallory? On to Lordsburg or back to Tonto?
I want my husband with me when our baby's born.
Doc?
Ain't you forgot this lady?
You mean Dallas?
Oh, I say go. I've nothing to go back to.
Doc?
Lordsburg. Pass the bottle.
Ringo?
Ringo's my prisoner. I'm voting his proxy. I say Lordsburg.
Hatfield?
I am at the service of Mrs. Mallory.
Thank you.
Buck?
Well, Lordsburg it is. Well, let's all step inside and get some grub. Looks spry.
Better take my arm up these steps, Mrs. Mallory.
Oh, no, thank you. Really, I'm quite... I'm quite... Oh.
Mrs. Mallory. I've got her. Dr. Boone. Mrs. Mallory needs your help.
What?
Oh, it's no use. He's drunk. Ringo.
Yeah?
I don't know for sure, but I think you better go inside and start heating some water.
All you want and then some. And then some.
Carry her inside, Mr. Hatfield.
Oh, allow me. Allow me.
I'll carry her myself, you sot.
Thank you, sir.
You drunken swine.
Thank you.
Now, if you'll open the door for me, Dallas.
Yes.
Drunken swine of a doctor.
Doc, honest, ain't you ashamed?
Did I understand that swine to call me a drunken swine?
No. I wish I could do something.
There is something you can do, Buck.
Yeah, but what can you do in your condition?
I can drink all of the hot black coffee you can make. I, sir, am a doctor. Now get busy. Get busy.
NBC Theater is presenting the Screen Directors Guild production of Stagecoach, starring Claire Trevor, John Wayne, and Ward Bond, with screen director John Ford.
Where the coyotes howl and the wind blows free.
Apache Wells, the white man called it. Here the white squaw had her child, while the flying wagon waited while my tribesmen gathered. On the hills and on the desert gathered the Apache warriors, while the white squaw had her child and the flying wagon waited.
Oh, it makes me nervous, being held up like this in Apache country. Just when they're mad at us again.
Quiet, Buck.
Huh?
Someone's coming. Dallas?
Look, it's a little girl.
A girl.
Let me see it. Well, I'll be doggone.
That's real fine, ain't it, Dallas? Real fine.
Oh, yes, Curly, it's fine.
A baby. How? Why?
I'll explain it to you sometime, Buck.
Listen, boys. Doc Boone. 3 cheers for Doc Boone. Never mind the 3 cheers. Just pour me 4 fingers instead. I'm thirsty.
Dallas?
Oh.
It's me, Ringo.
Oh.
You oughtn't to be outside here at night alone. Apaches like to pick off strays.
Well, you're here now.
Yeah, I watched you with that baby today. You looked, well, nice.
I just wanted to hold it a minute.
You're visiting in Lordsburg?
I have friends there.
Oh, good.
Ringo, why don't you escape?
I aim to, in Lordsburg.
Why not now? Why not go over the border now?
My father and brother were shot down by the Plummer boys. I guess you don't know how it feels to lose your folks that way.
My folks were killed by Indians when I was a kid.
Oh, that's tough. Well, it's a hard country, especially for a girl.
You have to live no matter what.
That's it. Look, Miss Dallas, you got no folks, neither have I. Maybe I'm crazy to ask you, but, well, I still got a ranch down across the border, and I guess I'm crazy being close to you like this, but...
Ringo, you don't know me. You don't know who I am, or...
I know I want to marry you, Dallas.
Ringo.
That ain't an answer, Dallas.
Oh. Ringo, you can't go to Lordsburg. Not now. The Plummer boys will be 3-1 against you. You'll get killed.
Can't tell.
You can't win.
Can't run away from it either.
How can you talk about our life together when you want to throw your life away?
Well, what do you want me to do?
Get away. I'll follow you.
You mean that, Dallas?
Well, I just can't leave Mrs. Mallory and her baby now, but listen. There's a horse all saddled and ready for you in the corral.
What?
Yeah, there's a rifle in the saddle boot. Now get going. I'll come after you.
I'm counting on that, Dallas, with my life.
Goodbye, Ringo. Watch out for Apaches.
I got a rifle now, and I got you. Don't worry, Dallas. I'll be waiting. Hold it. Whoa! Hold it! Hold it, boy. Easy. Smoke signals on the ridge. Apaches. I gotta warn Dallas and the others. I gotta go back.
Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
On the ridge and on the mesa smoked our Chiricahua fires. Rise, the fires told my nation. Strike the white man's flying wagon. Rise, my kinsmen, rise, Apaches, chieftains, horsemen, lances, rifles. Stagecoach on the Lordsburg Trail. Thus the signals on the mesa. Thus the writing in the sky. Thus my fierce Apache horsemen follow on the Lordsburg Trail.
We're making good time. I say we're out of danger now, thanks to Ringo here. Very decent of you to come back, Ringo.
I wouldn't be too sure we're out of danger yet, Hatfield.
We'll be in Lordsburg soon, then. Very soon. How's the baby? Sleeping. Doc told me what you did for me. Thank you very much, Dallas.
You know, danger whets my appetite. Indeed it does. Let me see. There must be a bottle of something left in this bag.
A bullet. It just missed your head, Doc.
On the floor, Miss Mallory. Dallas, you and Miss Mallory, get down!
Apaches, hundreds of them.
Hey! Hey, Ringo!
Curly's calling you from the driver's seat, Ringo.
Here's your Winchester. Use it, man. Use it! Thanks. Got my rifle.
Ringo, look out! That Apache on that painted pony!
Got him!
See that engine on that Mustang coming alongside?
Don't talk! Shoot!
Well, now you see him, and now you don't.
You ladies all right?
We're all right.
Now you see him, and now you don't.
Baby, all right?
Yes, baby's all right.
You gentlemen will be good enough to shoot Indians instead of...
Hatfield's been hit.
Get that Apache. I'll help Hatfield.
Got him.
Faster! Drive faster! Fire! Fire! Can't you see they're all around us?
Now, Mrs. Mallory, you'll get hurt.
Easy, Hatfield, easy.
I could use some more help up here.
Give me your pistol, Doc.
Take it.
Thanks. Look at all those engines.
Apaches all have big families.
Don't talk. Shoot.
I can't. Out of ammunition.
Oh, no. Why have Buck and Curly stopped firing outside?
Buck's hit. Curly's empty, too. This looks like it.
No! No! I have only 3 bullets left.
That's enough. Indians won't get you or Mrs. Mallory or the baby.
No. No, they won't. Listen! Get down! No, listen! It's a bugle! Listen!
It's the cavalry from Lordsburg.
The Apaches are breaking! They're running away!
Glory, glory!
How's Hatfield?
Dead. Glory, glory.
Well, good night, Ringo.
Is this where you live in Lordsburg?
I told you. I warned you. I told you didn't know me. This part of town is no place for a nice girl, but it's all right for me. Now say goodbye, Ringo. Say goodbye.
I asked you to marry me, didn't I?
I'll never forget you asked me.
Go on back and wait for me in the stagecoach.
Where are you going?
Business. With the plumber boys. I'll just take a slow walk down Main Street and see what happens.
Dear Lord, this stagecoach don't pass much for a church, but I'm praying to you here. Please, Lord, it's 3-1 against Ringo out there, and the plumber boys are dead shots. Awful dead shots, Lord. Like I was saying, Lord, it's 2-1, Lord. He's all I got, and all I ever want. So please, dear Lord, please let me have him back. Please, please, please.
Oh, carry me back to the
that out there. Ringo!
Yeah.
You hurt?
No.
I prayed for you. I prayed.
You did good.
Let's get out of here, then. Escape.
Don't have to anymore. Before he cashed in, Luke Plummer confessed he killed Jed Michael.
You're free?
Yeah.
And they didn't even hurt you? Dead shots like the Plummer boys?
Deadest dead shots you ever saw.
Oh, Ringo. Ringo.
Dallas, what are you crying for? Nothing's happened.
Thus the story of those brave men, riders of the flying wagon, in the land of Arizona, where Geronimo was chief. In the great land in the desert where the flying wagon galloped, that the white men called the stagecoach, bringing brave men to the west.
Our stars will return in just a moment. The NBC Theater has presented the Screen Directors Guild production of Stagecoach, starring John Wayne, Claire Trevor, and Ward Bond, and introduced by John Ford. In the weeks to come, the Screen Directors Guild will bring you Douglas Fairbanks Jr., Robert Montgomery, Rosalind Russell, James Mason, and Irene Dunn. And next week, the NBC Theater presents screen director Richard Wallace, introducing the current film comedy, Let's Live a Little, starring Robert Cummings. And now, here again is our special guest, the president of the Screen Directors Guild, Mr. George Marshall.
The premiere production of the Screen Directors' entry into radio has now joined the stagecoach itself in that great fund of memories known as the past. And speaking for the Guild, I'd like to express our gratitude to the National Broadcasting Company for the opportunity to better acquaint the public with the work and role of the screen director. Take it away, John Ford.
Well, how do you hardy frontiersmen like pioneering in an NBC studio instead of the Badlands of Arizona?
Very much. You know, just the memory of that dust is enough to send me running home to wash my hair.
Pappy, this is wonderful.
Wayne, wonderful? What do you mean?
Well, no getting up early in the morning and arguing with a horse.
You know, I think it's wonderful that the screen director is being honored like this. He's the fellow who really makes the movie.
Claire.
As for us actors and actresses, well...
Where'd we be without you, Pappy, and others like you?
That's right.
You taught us our business. That's all I can say.
Thanks. Say, talking about wonderful things, it's a wonder that Pappy here hasn't yet displayed his fine, tyrannical hand.
How do you do? Is that so? Ward, John, now look, as long as we're speaking about fine, tyrannical hands, look, are we going to do this again? Because if so, I'd like to take you folks...
Yeah, I thought so. You'd have something to say about it. We had that same trouble 10 years ago.
That's right.
Hey, can't we go out and
Now, look, John, don't you remember? This is radio. There are no retakes. Good night, everybody.
Our thanks to our stars, John Wayne, Claire Trevor, and Ward Bond, and to screen directors George Marshall and John Ford. Also heard were Barbara Fuller, Peter Leeds, Horace Murphy, Norman Field, Dan Riss, Ken Carson, and Eddie Fields. Tonight's story was adapted by Milton Geiger, and original music was composed and conducted by Henry Russell. Production was under the supervision of Howard Wiley. Your announcer, Frank Barton. John Wayne can soon be seen in John Ford's Argosy production, Three Godfathers, and Claire Trevor appears in the soon-to-be-released Amusement Enterprises picture, The Lucky Stiff. Ward Bond is currently appearing in the Victor Fleming production, Joan of Arc. Listen again next week when the NBC Theater presents...
Screen Directors Guild assignment. Production, Let's Live a Little. Director, Richard Wallace. Star, Robert Cummings.